Five.
Hello, and welcome to Heroes Die Presents Paranormal Investigation Group, one shot fits all module. And with us today, we have our wonderful cast. Please introduce yourselves and tell us who you'll be playing, and then I'll give a little background on the setting and what it is we're going to be doing today.
Okay, so I'll go first because I'm pushy. My name is Jason Morgan, and today I will be playing Agent Sloan. Agent Sloan is a technologist slash computer whiz who is recruited to the paranormal investigative group at 16. Now, 10 years later at 26, they are undertaking their first mission as a field operative. Dr. Yvette?
Hi, I'm Paula. I am playing Dr. Yvette, or Evie for short, St. Clair. Um, she is a conspiracy theorist. In her mid 50s, she's got PhDs in sociology and anthropology. She specializes in researching fringe theories and uncovering secrets, and she will go to any lengths to uncover the truth, no matter how dangerous it may be.
Ooh.
Mhm.
My name is Mike Rigby. I'll be playing Sophie DuPont, who is the world's leading expert in parapsychology and is, she's an occult specialist. And I guess the rest you'll find out.
I'm Taya. I'm going to be playing Thea Steele, a gorgeous woman in her late 20s. She is definitely a rich action girl type, the daughter of Steele Industries, so leading field of robotics and engineering. So she has her degree in both. However, she gets very bored on the day-to-day basis. So she finds herself jumping from hobby to hobby, trying to find some really interesting things to do in life. Has definitely went on daring escapades into government properties, and finally Pig tracked her down to have her join the team a couple years ago.
Wonderful. So, as you've probably gathered, we are a paranormal investigation group, also known as PIG. And our agents who just introduced themselves will be tasked with uncovering some sort of supernatural mystery in the vein of X Files or Supernatural or Men in Black, working for some sort of black ops, hush hush secrets society that investigates and tries to make sure that the general public never learns of their existence. If you're interested in the game that we're playing, it is available on our Patreon. The link should be below. And make sure to follow us on social media. We're at Heroes Die Show. We'll be doing little games like this on Tuesdays, but also make sure to watch our main campaign, Best Left Buried. That'll be Saturdays, 1 to 4 p.m. Central Time. So just to get reminders, make sure you click all the little engagement buttons down there. You know what they do better than I do. Click them, make them light up, make the little thing sparkle, whatever it does. Click it, and you'll feel better, and you'll never miss a show. So, with that, let's go ahead and get started in our mystery of the day. The four of you are traveling down a snowy road in New Hampshire. You're riding in a black SUV, tinted windows. The driver has like a blockade up so they can't see you, you can't see them. You know from your experience in traveling in these standard issue vehicles that you are secure and you can talk freely in this vehicle. Um, there's comfortable. It's almost like limousine style, where there's little benches that you're sitting on facing each other, and there's a small table between the four of you, and on it sits a phone the size of a brick because we are in 1990 something. And that's the way that you guys have the most modern technology available to you, this brick of a phone. You're not sure where you're going. You got the call. that you needed to be at a spot. The vehicle picked you up and off you went. And you knew that whoever was driving this vehicle wouldn't have the answer for you. So the phone sits silently. The car keeps moving and you wait for it to ring. But you have a moment to discuss amongst yourselves or make any introductions or catch up with old friends while you wait for the phone.
I think that Thea is probably like swirling around a little glass of alcohol or something of the sort. She's leaning back in her chair and she's just going to be complaining about the driver. She's just going to basically be like, I just don't understand why they don't allow me to drive anymore. I'm a much better driver than that Jack in the Box. And we could have brought the 69 Mustang instead of this.
Agent Steele, I believe, based on the reports that I read, your last driving incident cost the agency over $500,000. That may be why they're not allowing you to drive.
Yes, but it was so cool while I did it. Isn't that worth it?
Not when other people's lives are on the line.
No one's ever died when I was behind the wheel.
Not yet. There is always a first time for everything.
Not ever, sorry to say.
Agent Sloan, are you a little bit nervous? This is your first time out. Is that correct?
Yes. I have been preparing. I've viewed all of your past mission reports, which have been, in many cases, detailed, and I appreciate that. But I believe I am now ready for field duty.
I should hope so.
Just remember, the flashier the better.
It depends what we are facing.
That's my policy, and I'll stick to it no matter what.
Now, Dr. Yvette, I read a little bit about you. You are somewhat famous in the agency. Is that correct?
You see, Dr. Yvette, she's just been looking down this whole time, and she's got this like notebook in front of her, and she looks up and she goes, "Oh, am I? I suppose so. Yes. What exactly have you heard about me?"
Well, of course, many of your papers have been deeply informative, but beyond that, you are one of the few remaining agents that somehow remains what's the right word? Credulous.
Oh, I suppose that's good. So this is your first time in the field. Have you done much preparation, Agent Sloan?
Well, you see, I pull out my briefcase and I open up. I have gathered a series of devices that I think should be very useful. I have our EM detector and my portable my portable radar device in case we end up somewhere where the sun is blocked for some reason, as well as a few other interesting things from the lab.
This is as foreign to me as anything I could imagine.
And with that, the phone on the table begins to emit a
I'll reach forward and grab it.
Yes, please identify yourself. Passcode, please.
This is Agent Thea Steele. Identification number 976301.
Authorization approved. Patching you over.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, this is the corporal. Is this Agent Steele?
That is correct, Corporal.
All right, you're being dispatched to Brooks Haven, New Hampshire, sleepy little port town. we have reason to believe that something is afoot. Now, there's
Like something is going on, or there's actually a monster that's afoot.
I well, you see, we're not exactly sure what it is. Now, this is going to be a little bit unorthodox, but there's one of these multi-level marketing organizations, fancy word for a pyramid scheme, you understand? And there's
Yes, darling, I'm well aware of what that means.
well, we have this file that goes back to this group of door-to-door salesmen back in the 50s, selling this serum called Lift of Life. Now, individuals who would purchase this serum often went missing. We investigated, but we weren't able to determine exactly what the source of the serum is or where these people went missing. The whole case went cold till, well, just recently there's reports of the organization operating again. We need to limit it to the area, quarantine as necessary, and determine what it is. I know technology's come a long way in the 40 or so years since we last had this case, so we need to identify what it is and what's causing these folks to disappear, and probably save some of their money from joining the scam while we're at it. You understand?
I understand, yes. Find the missing people, find the serum, blah, blah, blah. Yes, I understand.
And I know here at Pig we say oink, only investigate nuisances known. And unfortunately, this is an unknown nuisance, so we've assembled the most elite crew we could to make sure we keep this under wraps. You understand?
Any team that I am a part of is the most elite, darling.
Precisely. So once you have the information and it is a nuisance that is known, you can go ahead and give me a call on this phone. You know the code, and we'll make sure to get you out of there as soon as possible. But again, you got to keep this quiet.
Quiet's not my forte, but I'll do my best.
I know you will. And then there's just a click.
She'll put down the phone and she'll say, I absolutely will not do my best in that. The louder, the better.
Pardon me, Agent Steele,
Yes.
but I believe Brookshaven is actually famous for the lift of life. This is the third time it's been brought up.
The third time.
Indeed. And I pull out a small, like a small but like blocky little computer. So it's like that big, but it's not like a computer, right? Like I open it and there's like a very like little text screen, and there's a small keypad that I have to like push in the different keys, and I slowly type something in. And I pull it up, and you see Brookhaven life. What is it? Lift of life serum, and there's 3 different file entries.
Yes,
1954. Oh, I'm sorry, Dr. Yvette.
No, I was going to say you are absolutely right. I believe that it was Dr. Thomas Brown, a very renowned biologist, who suggested that there was a secret cabal of scientists using genetically modified organisms, that they were responsible, although it never went anywhere, so.
In my experiences, cabals always have a headquarters or some sort of leader of some kind, driving dogmatic inspirations toward their fellow followers. And she's sitting there with like a briefcase, and she opens it up, and there's folders in it. And she takes out a folder, and there's all these like nasty old pieces of paper in it with like weird circles and things. And she takes one out and hands it to Dr. Yvette. You'll find this is not the first time they have been recorded by our agency.
Oh, this is very thorough research.
Yes, we acquired this knowledge for years and years. And could I give a little bit of a roll on how much
Sure.
I know about this?
All right. So the way that this works, especially if it's your first time watching this, you get to assign 3 of your skills to set dice. So your highest skill that you want to be the best at will be your D12, your second best a D10, and your third best D8. All the other skills that you'll be generally good at based on how you envision your character will be your D6, and things that you're not so good at will be a D4. And so what do you want to roll, and tell us what that skill is? So assign it some kind of name.
Well, I was going to call it esoteric knowledge,
Okay.
and
And what do
it's
you want that to be?
that's her 12.
You want to make that all right. So your
Yeah.
12 is locked in as esoteric knowledge.
Yeah.
And go ahead and give us a roll, and let's see how you do.
9.
9. So that is a critical success. So tell me a little bit about what it is you're looking for. You're gonna find it. So what kind of information are you hunting for in particular?
The second I hear cabal or culty things, I'm looking deep into New Hampshire history of any sort of, police docs or anything that would have uncovered some sort of ritualistic locations and whatnot.
Sure. So New Hampshire is an interesting, and New England in general has an interesting history, where old world and new world religions, beliefs, and occult rituals all sort of blended back when, in the 1600s or so, leading on. And so it has a very unique flavor where there's recognizable patterns, but it's not necessarily something it's pretty unique to that location. Especially with a cove town like this, or a port town like this, there'd be lots of coves, caves, access to the water, and lots of places for these groups to hide. But it's absolutely maggoty with cult activity, but it's very secretive, obviously, but it's also very sporadic. So there'll be like big bursts, big waves of it, and then it all seems to go away for a while. And then the next generation, it explodes again. And that pattern is pretty unique to this area, whereas other areas sort of are known for always having some sort of occult activity, or almost never or very little. The boom and bust cycle is pretty unique to this area. And typically it is your charismatic leader leading some group of people into some cave, cove, maybe even a boat to get away from the general public and participate in some sort of whatever it is they're trying to accomplish.
We are definitely coming up on there was a long period of lull in the activity so far. And I would be lying if I said I wasn't a bit excited to be visiting this area.
Agent
do-
Sloan, it appeared that you had times on your little whatever information you found. Is there I don't know, a correlation between the times? Agent Sophie was talking about a lull. Is there a pattern to the lull?
It's excuse me. It's interesting you should say that. Let me try and correlate that. And I start typing quickly into the box. And I would like to try and look up some of the information I have loaded on my mobile computing device, my MCD, as I call it, and see what I've preloaded before leaving. And I think in general, just using my devices, if that's a fair skill.
Yeah, that's absolutely a fair skill. And you have a briefcase full of them, and we'll see them as we get to see them. So you don't have to name them all now. But yeah, what do you want to make your gadgety roll?
Fantastic. In this case, Agent Sloan is a D10 for using the gadgets and D12 for generally trying to assemble or disassemble gadgets.
Okay.
Is that fair enough?
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
All right. So D10, here we go.
And everyone in the
7.
car is slightly irradiated.
7. Okay. So
Is it hot in here?
Yeah, it's whizzing and whirling as it's the fan in there. It's a
A
small
little
fan, but it
fan.
is just churning fast enough that you might even be moving faster if you face it backwards. Um, but yeah, you are a student and you came prepared. Especially, you weren't going to walk into your first field job without doing all of your homework. So you knew it was Brookhaven, and you started loading it with information. And as you said, there were 3 entries previously, and the first one was the most recent one was 1954, and it was pretty much as the colonel. Was he colonel or a corporal? Um, the
Corporal.
individual on the corporal. Okay, the corporal indicated that uh, there was a group of individuals. Some were kind of people down on their luck trying to make money as door-to-door sales, selling this serum, a rejuvenation serum by Lift of Life. No one was quite sure, and it was a different time, so nobody really knew where it came from. Just that people one day started selling it door to door, and people that joined, not necessarily just people that purchased the product, but more people that joined as salesmen of the product or saleswomen of the product, um, vanished about 6 months or so after joining the organization. In total, it affected about 38 people, um, who were assumed to have gone missing because of this. They were never located, and any trace of the product or its packaging or branding or anything of that vanished with the people. So
Mm.
it's not that you could later study that. A similar story happened in 1942. Um, this time it was traveling salesmen, not necessarily trying to get people to join the organization and sell it, but traveling salesmen that came, people that purchased the product, disappeared. Indicates probably about 52 people at that time purchased the product and then were gone missing within 6 months. And the first one, the first entry, indicates that a serum called Lifting the Love was sold as an alcohol replacement during Prohibition in 1920 something, when Prohibition was happening. I don't remember when the 21st Amendment passed. So before that, during Prohibition,
What
it
was it
has the
called
date.
again?
Lifting the Love.
Lifting the Love. Yep.
Lifting of love.
And it was sold as an alcohol replacement. Those who purchased the product went missing within around 6 months after purchasing the product. And although they can't definitively tie the 1920s incident to the later incident because of the slight change in name, the similarity in pattern led that to be included in the file, and the location. Once again, it was all in the Brookshaven or surrounding area that this happened.
Just to confirm, in each case, the outbreak lasted about 6 months.
Yes. Yep.
How
Or
long
is it
has this
getting
one been going
shorter?
on?
Based on the debriefing file that was that you have available, it probably has been going on for about a month. They're onto this pretty quickly. Pig has their ways to find these anomalies in the world, that none of you are even privy to how they know. They just know, and you know that they're always right or very often right. So it's a credible threat, but how they discovered this is a mystery.
Well, and I relay the general information. I say, it sounds like we have about 5 months-ish before they disappear, if it follows the usual pattern.
I think the only pattern that I see is that there's a lot of gullible people in Brookshaven over many generations.
Well, gullible people are the norm in my experience.
Yes,
Gullible or desperate.
there could also be some sort of mind control happening. You know that it is certainly not out of the question. So we should be prepared for anything.
Yes, lycanthropy is easy to fight. It attacks the body. Vampirism attacks the blood. But when the mind is affected, it can sow seeds of distrust among the agents. I advise caution.
And with that, the SUV slows down and stops in a parking lot spot. And you can tell that this isn't just a red light stop. You've reached your destination. You peer out the tinted windows and see a diner, Wally's Waffles.
Their waffles have better been earth-shattering.
Wally's waffles.
Well, I'm hungry. Shall we?
Yeah, I bust open the doors
Absolutely.
with a little flair.
You see it's snowing, not too hard. It's a gentle snow. There's cold wind. I'm assuming that the people walking in and out of the diner are wearing those fashionable like trench coats that were really popular at the time. Those overcoats, and the people seem friendly enough. You get a few people just looking at the vehicle, your vehicle, because it's not often you see the tinted SUV in little old Brookshaven. But there's people about despite the weather, and there's a flashing neon open sign outside of in the window of Wally's Waffles.
Okay. Before Sophie steps out, she takes out her handgun, puts it in her side holster, puts her like fluffy coat with like the big fur around it. She's got her like Uma Thurman from Pulp Fiction haircut. And she bundles up and gets out with her briefcase. I hate this weather.
It is rather dreary.
Evie puts on her, she's got her gray hair. It's like pulled back in this very tight bun. And she's got like this gray fedora and shrugs on this wool long coat. It's got like, some good shoulder pads in there. And gets her satchel and puts her notebook inside. Well, perhaps we should go inside and find some of the locals to speak to.
Agreed.
I can't wait to speak with them.
I think our main object here is to acquire a sample of this substance.
Agreed.
If we can.
Quick. Oh, sorry, Mike. Or sorry, Sophie.
Nope.
Quick question for the game master. Is the SUV sticking around? Like, is this like our driver?
No,
or...
so when you get out, the one of you knows to take the very, very portable brick of a phone with you off the table, and once the four of you leave and shut the doors behind you, the car just drives away. Driver doesn't say goodbye, none of that. It routine, and this is how you would expect it to happen, or have heard of it happening in your case.
Great. So Agent Sloan is going to grab his briefcase, his other fairly large hard case, and backpack, and get that all loaded up. So he's going to take a minute to get all this stuff and start walking in behind the others.
And you're going to grab the phone?
No, Agent Sloan's loaded down.
While he was doing that, Thea would have like propped a boot up on the back of the van. And she takes a moment. She has one of those fashionable trench coats, and she'll open it and just start putting weapons. Like on one hand, she'll like slide a couple daggers in, and then there's like what you think might be like some sort of grenade over there attached. And then she's going to like take a pistol, and again she's gonna make sure that it's loaded, cock it, let it go, put that in a shoulder holster, and then she's also got one that she like a derringer that she slips into her boot, and then she'll tie that all together and look at the phone, look at Agent Sloan, and she'll say, "I'm not carrying that."
Evie will take it. She goes, I can put this in my bag.
Oh,
yes. I'm hands-free.
I think I lost Paula.
Uh-oh, am I back?
She's here for me.
All right, let me refresh real quick. Sorry about that.
Mhm.
No problem.
I'm here.
Dr. Yvette, Agent Sloan looks at you and, well, thank you so much, Doctor.
Of course.
Yes, you
Oh.
understand that if we're in a situation where I need to use my weaponry, I can't be handling a phone as well.
Oh, I'll take it.
Oh, I was going to take it.
Oh, never mind. I'll hold my arm out and help you get out of the SUV.
Thank you. Do you prefer Sophie or what do you prefer to be called?
Agent Dupont would be
Agent
fine.
Agent Dupont. You can call me Evie.
Evie.
Yes.
Nice to finally meet you. I've heard so much
Yes.
about you.
I would love to discuss some things when we have more time. I recently wrote a paper called "Investigating the Influence of Clairvoyance on Decision Making," and I thought
Oh.
maybe we could. I don't know. You might have some interesting thoughts.
Oh, I have read it actually.
Oh, really?
Yes. Yes, it was very well written.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
thank you. I have also read many of your writings.
Yes. Are you familiar with the clairvoyance used in ancient Celtic shamanism? And she keeps on talking about this.
Yes, yes. They'll
She-
walk together into the diner.
Thea will be
Mhm.
holding the door open. She's going to say, "Yes, yes, you're both lovely darlings. Can we stop talking about this boring subject?
If
Please.
telepathy is a boring subject,
It'll be less boring if it actually works. Until then, boring."
there's proof. There's proof of it.
Actually, yes. Um, there's plenty of documented cases.
Gods above, I was not trying to encourage you. Can we continue on?
Certainly.
Very well.
Agent
So-
Sloan's taking up the rear, like weighed down by all the bags, like walking in.
Hmm.
As you walk in, it's dimly lit, and there's a hostess stand at the front sign that says "Please wait to be seated." And young woman is behind the stand, and she says, "Welcome to Wally's Waffles, smoking or non-smoking."
Non-smoking.
Okay,
Yep, of course.
And
I can wait.
she gets some laminated menus and leads you towards your table.
I totally
And,
forgot about the smoking section in restaurants, so that's.
I was gonna say there was a
Mhm.
thin panel that somehow separates it, and in this universe actually works and keeps all the smoke on the other side of the organization.
That
That's-
is good news.
yeah, we don't know
Amazing.
how. It's one of the differences in this world, but it's the 90s, right? That happened. That was a thing. Weird.
Yeah,
Totally.
the air was blue. The air was blue in most restaurants.
And she leads you to your tables and sets the menus at the four chairs around a table. Tiffany will be by soon to take care of you. Walks back to the hostess stand.
Thea will sit where she can put her. She does not want her back to the door, so she's going to sit on the back side. Take a peek at the menu and just kind of survey the area. Is this a popular place, or is it pretty nobody's here?
It seems you guys are here early on, morning time, and so there are people getting pancakes, waffles, your breakfast foods. A lot of people sitting at a bar, just drinking coffee and reading newspapers. But it's relatively populated right now.
Mm.
Interesting.
Are there any as we're there? Agent Sloan's just gonna look around the area, look at the newspaper machines as you come in that have the little like local newspapers, and is there any ads for the life lift of life serum and this
Sure.
MLM?
Sure. So you take a look at the headlines, and none of the advertisements on the front page seem to indicate that. There's your standard national publications in two of the boxes, and then there's the uh, Brookshaven Gazette, the local paper, in one of the boxes.
That's what I want. I want the
and-
Gazette. I'm a gazetteer.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's we'll say it's a dime to buy one.
Nice. Got it. No problem.
Hmm.
Put it
Pull
in
out
the
my
little
change
machine.
purse. Open it up.
From your fanny pack.
Mhm.
Yes. Yes, from my fanny pack. That's now
Uh.
canon.
Mm.
It was the 90s. That was a thing. Weird, right? I feel like we can just say that
I use a
about
fanny pack
everything.
now.
Oh no.
That's how cool
Sandy.
I am.
I have
Yeah.
3 fanny packs. I don't know what you're talking about.
So yeah, it's not nearly as bulky as the larger syndicated papers. Just a few pages, talking about a pet show coming up, a dog and cat show. That's the headline to give you sort of the general vibe of what sort of fascinating things happen in Brookshaven. That the pet show is the front page, a recap of the winners, losers, and the spurned who shouldn't have been. The auto bins.
Yeah.
And it's heated. It's heated. I mean, the editorial on it's scathing.
Right.
Unfortunately, you don't recognize any of the names or animals in there, but there's some looking for work in the classified. Nothing that says lift of life on it, but there is a very vague ad that just says, interested in making easy money, call this number. And there's a telephone number there. It doesn't really say much else, but that is the only one that's not definitively tied to some other company or advertising thing.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Well, isn't that interesting? I'll bring the paper over and I'll sit down with the team. And
Thea will take a look at the paper as he shows it, and she'll say, "Yes, it does seem like Muffy was miffed out of the first place."
oh, that's
What else
beautiful.
interesting is in there?
Well, aside from some taxidermied squirrels in very interesting outfits, we have
What
this
sort of outfits?
advertisement.
Oh.
And
That's
Ah.
suspicious.
indeed, I was thinking one of you experienced field hands might give it a ring, and then I paused to stop interrupting the game master.
No, you're good. So as you guys are discussing and looking over the paper, a woman in probably her 50s comes over and just says, "Hello, my name's Tiffany, and I'll be taking care of you. I see you guys looking at the classified ads. Are you guys new to Brookshaven?"
Oh, absolutely. It is so wonderful to meet you, Tiffany. Are you having a good day so far?
"Oh, can't complain. Just started. Feet haven't started hurting yet, but them dogs will be barking before long." Oh, so it's always nice to get visitors. We normally don't get the out-of-towners this time of year, mostly the summer. But what brings you into town?
Well, it's funny that you should ask that because, and she'll lean forward as if they're conspiring, and she'll say, "We are honestly just kind of bored and looking for some fun. Do you have anything that you would recommend in town, darling?"
Oh, you'd think the
I-
city council outlawed fun back in the 40s if you've looked around here. There's not much going on, but
Yes, I
make
hear that
do.
we missed the pet show, unfortunately. We were hoping to have come in time for that.
Well, keep your voice down. You never know. It's a small town round here, and some people haven't really gotten to the acceptance stage, if you know what I mean about
Yes.
that. So
Muffy was definitely cheated out of first place. Oh, sorry.
controversial subject, especially
All
for
right.
out-of-towners.
Oh, of course. I will keep that in mind. Thank you for the tip, darling.
Yeah.
Tiffany, do you Are you familiar with the patrons who come in here? You seem like someone who knows several people in a small town.
Oh, most folks know everybody round these parts.
Hmm. Are there any patrons who have stopped showing up? Any individuals you haven't seen in a while?
She pauses for a moment. Are you looking for somebody in particular?
No, just the occasional missing person.
What is it that you folks said you were doing here again? And you can tell
Oh,
she's like just now realizing like the various collection of individuals that you are very different than the normal tourists. So she's getting a little skeptical.
Pardon me, Tiffany. Could we start with a round of coffees? Coffees for everyone.
Certainly, certainly.
and
Oh,
and of course a waffle. Wally's Waffles has to have the best waffles in town, right?
one whipped cream scoop or two.
Oh, let's live on
Two
the
for
edge
me.
and do two.
Hmm.
She has a pen out, but she's not writing down, but she's kind of pointing at each of you as you order and then just kind of nodding along, and she takes your orders, and I'll be right back with that. Let me go fetch it for you. And
Creamier and sweeter than you think anyone would enjoy. Thank you.
right
Oh.
away, she walks towards the kitchen.
Hmm.
Is there
I
anything
think
about missing persons in the Gazette?
No. Nothing suggests any sort of alarm or
Tiffany probably, if I'm reading her right for age and I read everyone correctly, she would have been a child the last time that this pyramid scheme was going on. She might know a little bit about it.
Hmm. It is worth asking.
Hmm.
But if mind control is at effect here, it might be pointless.
You should ask if she can speak to you in your mind, just to see what she'll say.
You're not making fun of me, are you?
Would I ever?
Yes.
That's fair.
Hmm.
Yes, I am making fun of you. Just a little bit, though. I have to tease you. Keep you on your toes, Agent DuPont.
Speaking of mind control, she's gonna hold up the little container that has like the little packets of sweetener in them, and she'll say, I wouldn't try these if I were you." She'll scoot them to the edge of the table.
Aspartame.
There are some very um, concerning theories that have been coming to light lately about these. So, just better to be safe than sorry.
Yes.
after a few moments go by, Tiffany comes back and she has a tray with coffees on it. Waffles will just be a few moments. You got here right when the breakfast rush was coming in, but we're on it. And she starts distributing the coffees, and you can tell just by looking at them that they got the amount of cream, sugar, just the color is exactly what each of you wanted.
I see why it's so popular here. This is perfect.
Well, we try to do our best. She just gives you a smile. So, what did you folks say brought you to town again? I know you were looking for some excitement, but what's this about people missing?
Oh, well, we hear that there's a phenomenon in the area where I think the last time it happened, my friend here, he was just dying to come to the area. In 1954, there was a large excursion of missing people, and he was just very interested in it. And we were bored, didn't have much to do for the weekend, so we decided to come and check it out, learn some history of the place.
Well, and she thinks, I sort of remember. I think I was I was just a little girl back then, but I sort of remember some people making a lot of money, is what I heard, and moved to the city where stuff's actually exciting. I
Mm.
don't know. I haven't heard about anybody making money recently, though, and she chuckles. Things are so slow in the winter.
I'm living for this for Tiffany, to be honest, right now. I'm living for her. Oh, Tiffany, that's understandable.
Would you be able to recommend any good motels or places to stay in the area?
Sure, there's the Brookhaven Inn. I'm sure you could get a pretty good deal there during the off season. Now, around summer, they're probably already booked up, but I imagine for till then, till it warms up, you'll probably have your pick of the place, and there should be rooms plenty.
Great. Thank you so much, Tiffany.
Of course. Anything else I can get you folks while are you just waiting on them waffles?
Oh, the waffles, darling.
All
Thank
right,
you
let me
so
go
much.
check on them for you.
Mm.
She walks back towards the kitchen.
As she walks away, Thea will look at Agent Sloan and she'll say, I'm sorry to throw you under the table like that, as far as your interests go.
No, it's fine.
Mm.
It's the clues in the case that matters.
Mm.
On that note, I look around for a payphone.
Yeah, there's one over near where the newspapers were all sort of when you first walk in. There's a payphone and the newspaper stands.
Would one of you be interested in giving this number a call? We could do it from a payphone, so we couldn't easily be traced.
Absolutely.
That is a good idea.
And maybe we can call a cab afterwards as well. Take us over to the Brookhaven Inn. Brookshaven?
Brookshaven, yes,
Brookhaven.
certainly. I could try calling the number. Or...
Hmm.
I hand you the newspaper folded so the ad's prevalent. I've underlined it and circled it.
Oh, thank you. Is there anything I should ask for specifically? Or should I just...
Try and sound desperate.
Okay. All right.
Think about a world that does not care about telepathic qualities at all when you're on the phone discussing. That should make it a little bit easier.
Oh, dear. Maybe someone else should do this. I don't know if it's really my strength.
You'll
Yeah.
be fine, darling. Give it a whirl.
Okay. All right. Okay. I will go.
As Yvette's walking over, as Evie, I'm sorry, is walking over, Agent Sloan would like to pull his briefcase up onto the table, open it up, and like not casually because he doesn't do anything casually, but like looking around and keeping the briefcase between him and other people, he's gonna pull out the EM detector and just take some readings to try and compare this against the baseline
Agent
EM
Sloan,
radiation.
if you don't mind my critiquing you for just a moment, you are brilliant and your devices are wonderful, but you need to be work on your, just be subtle, right? Just be loose, be free.
That'll
Exactly. Don't act as if you have the most important gadget in the world in your hands. Just play it
Right.
off. It somehow looks even worse, to be honest. But the effort is there. I'll give you a B-.
Give me one of them gadget rolls.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Sophie is just as intrigued as probably
That's a-
everyone in the thing.
That's a 9.
All right,
My EM
another
reader reading.
another critical success. So yeah, you see that your little line going across the screen. You know, it's just a black screen with that green line,
Yeah.
and it starts to. It's not off the charts by any means, but it's about 3 degrees higher than what you would like it. And yeah, it's measured in
Elevated.
degrees for some elevated. There we go.
Oh.
What is it
Oh.
telling you?
Well, we're mildly elevated, but still within tolerances, so we should take a few more readings. Maybe once we get to the motel, I can I can set up the gear properly.
Hmm.
That was it.
That's very exciting. She'll say as she just takes a sip of coffee and once again looks at him and his briefcase and the device and just quirks an eyebrow. Hmm.
Dr. Evie, or just Evie, sorry.
Yes, I'm walking over to the. I guess I've gotten to the payphone by this point. So, um,
I'll
the.
could
Go
I
ahead.
go with and just like sit there just to provide some backup or
She would
something?
certainly appreciate that. Yes.
I'll just lean casually as if I want to use the payphone next.
Support.
Yes, back up. Thank you. So the advertisement said something about like a money making opportunity. Is
Yeah,
that what it was? Okay.
easy money making opportunity. Call this
Okay.
number, and that's all it says.
Okay, so she will, dig some change out of her pocket, a
Actually,
quarter maybe. Go ahead.
before she starts, I think before I would have walked over, I'll look at Agent Sloan and I'll say, Agent Sloan, do you have any sort of device by chance that would amplify the phone call so that multiple people could listen in at the same time? I can't I
Oh, you are
can't
muted.
I cannot hear you, so I don't know if you have the parts for that.
Sorry. That was something in my throat. I do have this, and I pull out a handset, which if you ever seen like the telephone operator handset, it's the handset that you can use to like plug into the box and listen in. And he goes, unfortunately, I'm not sure this would be useful in this scenario. We could, if we go outside to the junction box, we could tap the line.
That might be fun.
We might need to go into the sewer, depending on how
Nope,
they
forget
rent.
it.
No, oh, very well.
These boots cost more than your life. And then she'll walk over to provide backup. The pants as well, darling.
This is very rude.
I'm not sure I'm making a great impression on Agent Steele.
No, it is all right. I was told she was very difficult to work with. And trust me, I think your life is worth more than a pair of boots and trashy pants.
Well,
Trashy pants!
th-
Fighting
Thanks.
words.
thanks so much. Thanks very much so much for that, Sophie or Miss
Oh, it is
DuPont.
okay.
Miss,
It is
Ms.
all right.
Ms. or Mrs.
Agent DuPont would be
Agent
just
DuPont,
fine.
right? Yep, right, Agent. Of course. And I go back to reading. Red faced immediately.
Okay, so yeah, she's gonna get out the change, put it into the payphone, and dial the number. That's what dialing sounds like, apparently. So,
Yeah, it's the rotary.
no,
No,
no, this is the 90s.
This
The
is where there's
payphones.
the call collect banners all over
Yes.
this payphone of
Okay.
their catchy little ads. Yeah. So yeah, you dial the number and hear it ringing, and then a click, and then Heather Evers. You've reached Heather Evers with Lift of Love. How can I help you?
She's gonna her eyes are wide, and she's gonna look over at Agent Steele.
And she's
Oh.
just gonna mime, I want to make money.
Yes, I would like to make some money.
Oh, well, then you dialed the best number you could have dialed. Let me just tell you. Here at Lift of Love, we make your wrinkles and your financial problems poof disappear. So you
Wrinkles.
just by pushing those buttons on that phone, you've just changed your life. I can't tell you how proud I am of the decision that you made today. So why don't you just come over to my
Wrinkles.
headquarters? I can, if you're interested, give you the address and you meet me there and we can start talking about how you're going to change your world and the whole planet. Let me just tell you that.
I'll click a pen and hand it over.
Oh, um, yes, wrinkles. Um, absolutely. Please, I would love to learn more. Address, please.
Sure, that's going to be 342 42nd Street. Now, remember, it's 342 42nd Street, not
Three,
34242
42.
Street. That's a different place entirely. Not going to get you here, and we don't want to waste any more time. I'm here whenever you're ready, so just come by when you're available. And I'm sorry, what'd you say your name was?
Oh, my name is Sarah Jones.
Well, Miss Jones, let me just welcome you to the Lift of Life family, and I'll see you when you get here. And then click before you can say another word.
Uh, well, she'll look over at Agent Steele again.
Well, how did
I've
it
got the
go?
address. The address is here. It's it's very concerning. It's certainly a scam. Uh,
Why do you
Why do
say
you say
that?
that? I thought it was very convincing.
What were they promising on the other end?
something about wrinkles and variety, and it all sounded very, uh, very much like an infomercial. Really, it. eh,
That's how you know it's a scheme if they promise to take your wrinkles away. That's
Do you
just
think?
marching of life.
Do you think I?
No,
Well,
you look beautiful, darling.
yeah. Oh, thank you. Um, should we all head over to the address? Should we make a plan? I I do much better on the academic side of things, so the whole confrontation is a bit uh, scary, to be honest.
Mm. Well, you can leave that to me. I love confrontation. Come on,
Hmm.
let's head back to the table.
Okay, let's go.
The waffles have arrived while you were.
Oh,
Agent Sloan is approving. I take it.
Delightful.
she'll slide back into her chair and look at a piece of food that she probably has not ever eaten before. Or if she has, there's been like extravagant display on it. So for her, just the whipped cream is like, yeah, I'll give it a try, I suppose. She'll start to eat it.
Sophia's not eating. She's just nursing the coffee. The best thing on this table is the maple syrup.
Did you add more to your coffee than what they gave you?
No, absolutely not. I just know that the maple syrup here is pure, if that is such a thing.
I can vouch for it. Fantastic.
Well, we did discover the lift of love is responsible for the advertisement, and we have an address. Um,
Huh.
The person on the other end of the phone was named Heather
Evers.
Evers,
Hmm.
and she sounded like she was reading from a terribly written script. And sorry, Josh.
Correct.
I think that was the point, to be honest.
Correct.
So I was the only one ready to go all in on this then. Uh-oh. That's not fair for me. This explains why I have so
definitely-
much S-ing on TV stuff. At the moment.
They're
Magnifique.
definitely targeting people with low IQs, gullible people.
Uh-oh.
That's right, folks. You've tuned in for the most awkward intervention for Jason's shopping addiction. I didn't want to have to tell you like this, but
It's all an elaborate scheme.
in chat, tell us how Jason's shopping makes you feel. And
Does Agent Sloan have, like, when she makes that comment, does he have any sort of reaction?
Well, she says the thing, Agent Sloan literally drops his knife and fork,
Oh.
and they clatter down. And he starts like going to reach into the bag for his little, what was it? It was the portable computing device, the PCD.
Magnifique. Excellent work.
Yeah.
Agent
He's like
Evie.
wiping his fingers on the napkins, like trying to get the maple syrup off.
Agent Sloan, remember when we talked about being subtle?
Right.
That was a very loud noise.
Right. Yes. I just have to use the bathroom. Pardon me. And I push my table.
I'm going to Thea is going
Slide
to
the
take
chair.
a bite of waffles and just use the movement to take a glance around. Is anyone like staring at our table?
sure. So what kind of skill would you describe as how she reads people or reads a room? How would you describe that?
So I put in my D10 slot, I put like fast talker, as in like able to kind of carry conversations and read people and get out of situations and just kind of those things. So I would assume that she's pretty good at it.
Yeah, so that sounds like it could be a good schmoozin type skill. And that would help you identify what is the general vibe of the room. That's important. So yeah, go ahead and roll me that, and we'll see what you see.
It's a 7.
A 7. That's, you guys are doing well. The critical success. You can tell that people are generally keeping their focus on whatever's in front of them, but because you're keen, you can tell that there are glances coming, and they don't necessarily seem hostile in any way. Just generally, this is weird. Who are these people? The general vibe is more and more attention is focusing in.
Oh, that's not good.
What is it, Agent Steele? What do you see?
We're gathering too much attention. I fear that this town is so little it's hard to blend in. I should have worn my cheap pants like yours.
These pants are not cheap.
Fit in a little bit better.
These are tailor-made.
I don't know if I want the
Could you afford this? Could you afford these pants?
I could buy the tailor shop.
Oh, that is right. You come from money.
Yes,
Well,
it has its perks at first, and then it gets rather boring, don't you think?
Let me tell you, does Daddy pay for everything?
Oh, Daddy stopped paying for things when I was 16. I've been paying my own way for a very long time.
You tell him, sister. And you see Tiffany behind you. Sorry to interrupt, just dropping off the check. But
you're always welcome.
And
I'll pick
she
up
just
the
drops
check.
it off. And
thank you. I'll be ready in just a moment. Are you coming back for it, or are we going up to the front entrance?
Oh, just leave it on the table. It'll be fine. I'll pick it up on my way back.
Thank you.
We should pay with a card, so they'll use the sliding machine.
I'm sure we have a company card through a pig.
Petty cash is something that they absolutely would have supplied you with. Probably not a card because it's traced almost more so back then, the wire number and all of that. So, but petty cash is
she's just going to reach into her like calf height leather boots and pull out a little wad of cash and pull out a couple bills and put it on the bill on the bill on the table, and then just put it back away.
Yeah, $12 for 4 people to have breakfast.
I was literally going to say, so it's $8.
Yeah.
How much are you tipping?
Tiffany was Amazing. I'll tip her 100%.
We keep the
All
petty
right.
cash in your boots.
Of course.
The float.
Listen, someone might steal my coin purse, but it's very unlikely they'll get my boots off.
Agent Sloan comes back from the bathroom, still like shaking his hands.
Oh, God. What did you find out?
Give me a roll.
I didn't find it. I was just peeing.
Oh, I thought he was using that as a covert operation to like take more readings.
No.
I was
All right.
actually really proud of him for a moment. Like he was being subtle.
he was just going to the bathroom. Yep.
Yeah, I won't make you roll for that then. We can
And I-
assume
I really
you're
enjoy coffee.
confident at things that you generally do. So
So what'd you find out in there?
Sorry,
Oh,
sorry to
gosh.
disappoint everybody. It's my first trip out to the field. Still getting the hang of it.
He's real nervous.
I'm very nervous.
All right. Well, we have a date, it would seem.
Yes. Should we get a cab to the hotel, or should we go directly to the address for this lift of love appointment?
Well, I would love to do a little bit of research and maybe a private spot. And he looks over at Thea. He goes,
Yes, of course.
"Would be a good place to do that."
Oh, okay then.
Isn't that what you went to the bathroom for?
No,
It might be illegal here. But yes, I suppose a hotel is the best place for this.
Oh, now you're just teasing the boy.
Well,
Pardon?
should we call a cab, or should we ask the staff here to get us a car?
Well, it might just be.
you saw on the payphone there was what are they? A phone book. I couldn't even think of what they were called. They're so retro, right? But there was a phone book there that you would believe you would be able to find a cab company if that's what you wanted.
It's
Do
a
we think
super
it's that-
thin phone book.
Is it that far away? It's a small town. It could just be right down the block. I'll go up to Tiffany. Tiffany, darling.
What can I do you for?
Oh, I was just wondering, the Brookshaven Inn, is that nearby, or is it better to call a cab?
Oh, it's about. She thinks for a second. Probably about 10 blocks north. Just take a main street up, and you'll see it there. It'll be on the left. Big sign, can't miss it.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. You've been a darling.
My pleasure.
She'll return to the others. It's 10 blocks away.
Oh, well, perhaps we could walk and gather information on the way. Observe.
Yes, this is a good idea. What did you say is the address for Heather Evans Wells?
I believe it was 142 42nd.
It was 342 42nd Street.
Almost.
42nd Street. Okay. Is there anything in my logs that any landmarks around 42nd Street?
Sure. Give me
history.
how do you want to roll for that? What skill do you want to use? Is that esoteric knowledge or?
Still esoteric knowledge.
Okay. Yep.
Okay, come on, baby. 6.
6. So that's a success. Yes, there is a burial ground that was known. The soil was believed to be cursed. It was following the hanging of several people accused of witchcraft back in the olden days. And the 3 of them were buried together under what used to be the gallows. And that is right at this intersection of Main and 42nd. And there's a little plaque that's there that indicates it. And sometimes
Ah.
teenagers are known to go there and drink beer and hang out and do teenagery stuff. There's some rumors that it's haunted, but it's in a pretty well trafficked area. That it's
Mhm.
not that there's ghost sightings or anything like that. Just general
Ah,
creepy vibes.
I knew that. I knew that sounded familiar. Yes, this might be near a cemetery. I think in my history, in in my dissertation about in the Oxford Handbook of Witchcraft, uh, there is a passage in there about this particular location. It is. I think we're onto something.
Well, we all know that the mystery, nothing should be discounted. If there's even the slightest amount of fear regarding a spot, it's better to think that there is something, some sort of paranormal activity going on,
Yes, the
until
plot
proven otherwise.
thickens.
Of course. Well done, Agent DuPont.
Yes, well done. Well done to you too.
Agent Sloan starts like packing up all his stuff, getting it loaded. He's like, "All right, are we off?"
As you're accumulating these large objects, you can tell you don't need a special roll at this point to tell that you're starting to get looks, people over their shoulder as they're looking over the newspaper. It's starting to get all
I
eyes
will
on you.
try to, I mean, she has these like sort of clicky heels and she looks very glamorous. So she's going to like click loudly as she walks to try to like gather attention away from him as she like walks through
Sure.
the room.
Mhm.
All right. What
I
skill are you
I would
using and what
say
dice?
the same fast talker, like all
I think
right,
that's
let's see. I'm
perfect.
gonna use the same dice and hope for a good roll. Ooh, that's a 1.
Interesting.
So you stand up and it's right as Agent Sloan is shuffling something to where your heel really loud just kind of gets caught right on it, and you still look smooth and stylish and all of that except for that noise just as it slides across the hard floor, and the loud noise. Now no one needs cover anymore and they can just look blatantly, and so nobody's getting up or saying anything, but they're watching and staring, and it's awkward.
I look at you, Thea, and I go, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry. Please, here, let me get that."
It's thank you, sir. That's fine. She'll just right herself, brush her like pants off a little bit, and just kind of give a couple people just a couple little like, oh, that's how it is looks before she gathers herself.
People start to look away, and maybe people that are sitting at a table or a booth together, you can kind of see them looking and murmuring, but people then kind of go back to their business.
All right, let's get
So
out of here.
Sophie puts her big furry coat on and primes the smoke. And steps outside.
I'll follow.
Yeah. She lights it the second she gets outside.
I'll stand upwind of her.
Agent Sloan has a Zippo.
Smoke? Oh, yes.
I was thinking branded matchbooks, but Zippos
Oh.
are good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for a gadget guy.
Yeah, Zippo. We're gonna go Zippo.
She offers to smoke to anyone else. Cigarette?
Yeah, Agent Sloan is definitely smoking.
Yeah.
No,
Evie
this
will
kill you.
Evie will take one as well.
Everyone's just puffing away.
Everyone's smoking.
wait.
It's the 90s.
Yeah, he's like
Everyone's
holding,
smoking.
he's like carrying it with his briefcase hand. He's like, like leaning down to do it.
Evie
It's
has
all
her
like shivering.
Yes, oh.
trench coat on and she's put on her fedora.
As it's warmed up, the gentle snow is now kind of a sleety, wintry mix. It's kind of slushy compared to the gentle snowflakes that were going on this morning. It's getting to be, around noon, early afternoon, as you spent some time in the in Wally's Waffles. How are you traveling? Did you guys call for a cab, or are you walking? How do you want to?
I think we're walking.
All right. Um, it seems that, again, compared to this morning when there was a lot more hustle and bustle, with the weather being what it is, and just the time of day, people are where they were trying to get to this morning. So the streets are much more empty. There's still the occasional car that passes, but it seems that generally speaking, you guys have as much privacy as you want as you make your way towards the directions that were given. And you're heading to the inn, correct? So as you
Is
make your way, you can see in
is
the
40
distance.
is 42nd Street, sorry. Is 42nd Street like on the way, or is that in the opposite direction?
So as you make your way up Main Street, that's sort of where all the numbered roads go off of. And let's say that the inn is on 33rd Street. So it's close by, but not exactly, not across the street from 42nd Street. On the corner of Main and 42nd is where the plaque is for the witch trial burial ground. And then further down at 342 is the address given by Heather Evers.
On the way, I'll be talking with Agent Evie about, Wicca and, the early and any signs of like any historic knowledge I would have about witches in the area, traditional or otherwise.
Do you think the witches had telepathy and that's why they were killed?
Actually, some of them. Oh,
She'll
Stop it. Oh my god. Sorry.
she will actually like throw her head back and laugh and she'll just like blow her a kiss and say, "You're a good sport, darling. I'm sorry to keep teasing you. It's just so easy."
I mean, I've never experienced something like someone speaking directly into my head, but I imagine it being quite jarring experience.
I guess it depends on the voice.
Exactly. What if it is your own voice?
That would be amazing.
As you're walking, what skill would each of you have to notice your surroundings? How do you keep astute? And remember, you don't have to give it one of your numbered die if you want to make it just a general D6, or maybe your person's oblivious and you give it a D4. You can choose one of your numbered assigned dice. But generally think about, how would you notice something happening around you? Not necessarily a social situation, but just general surroundings. And we'll start with Agent Sloan. What's your how
Agent
astute are
Sloan
you
is
at that sort of thing?
unfortunately oblivious. He's carrying all the bags. He's sweating. He's nervous about being around all these women. He doesn't know what
He's
to
a
do here.
smoker.
So he's trying to smoke and lean into it. He's got a 4.
All right, so all right.
That's a 1 out of 4.
All right, you notice nothing. Let's go with Dr. St. Clair.
Let's see. I would say her biggest skill would be pattern recognition. So maybe that could be applicable.
Yeah, I think if you want to call it pattern recognition, and then if something were to be noticeable, it's breaking a pattern of what would be expected. So yeah, go ahead and roll. So that's your D12 then?
Yes, that is
All
my
right,
D12.
let's see it.
And that is a 2.
You notice nothing.
She's very deeply like into this conversation with Agent DuPont, and so yeah, she's very much into this discussion.
All right, Agent Steele.
So I have her D12 transportation master, which I was thinking she would be like a getaway driver. She would be like entry and exit, so she's always like keeping track of certain points, like areas that are blocked off. So I think she would be very good at keeping an eye on her surroundings.
Normally, I think that would be a stretch, but if you succeed, you'll know why this might be actually more applicable than normal. So I think that's a wonderful skill to be using right now. And
That's
go
an
ahead and
11.
11. All right, so hold that thought while we get our last roll, but you notice something.
Yeah, I think Sophie, I have aura reading as a D6, and supernatural interactions would be something else. But I figure just gauging across people, aura reading, if it was involving individuals rather than.
Go ahead and give me your supernatural interactions.
Okay, that's a
I like
D8.
that one. A D8? Yeah. So go ahead and roll that for me and let me know how you do.
Okay. 7.
7. So both of you got critical successes. So with the rain coming down, the rain, sleet, snow mix coming down, it's relatively cloudy gray sky, very typical of this kind of year in this time of year in New England. The two of you notice a blue streak, just very thin, cutting across the sky rather, doing a circle in the sky, and then just no longer being there. It just leaves this streak in the clouds and then disappears. It was very fast, very thin, but the two of you notice that.
Anyone else see that?
Yes, of course, the blue light. It was here and then gone.
No, what was it? I'm sorry.
A tiny blue light. Can I use my esoteric knowledge to find out if there's historically anything involving blue lights?
And could I have tracked where it disappeared? Like, could I like visually be like, that is where it disappeared?
Ooh, that's a 3.
It seems that it didn't. All right, hold that thought. It seems that it didn't go anywhere so much as it just stopped being there. So it didn't like zip away so much as almost like it blinked and just the streak and whatever left made the streak just disappeared. It just ceased being. And you said you got a 3 on your
3.
esoteric, so that's a partial success. There's a number of things that could cause anomalies such as this. There's various spells can leave sky marks in the sky. It could be some alien activity is known to produce lights depending on certain kind of ships used. Some rituals of summoning would cause some sort of anomaly happening in the sky. There's a number of cryptids that are known to fly and have very bright eyes, and sometimes as they fly, typically more at night, you would notice people describe seeing a streak of light. You don't necessarily lean towards that because how it just was there and then wasn't.
Yes,
But
cryptids
it's
are
still
usually at night.
but those are some of the general ideas of, but you can't really pinpoint just the way that this was, and you weren't really looking at it to study it. You saw it and you noticed
Corner
it,
of
but
my eye kind of thing.
right, it was so fast and you weren't expecting it that you don't get a general vibe of what precisely this one was.
This could be a number of things. I say we get to the hotel as quickly as possible.
And you see the sign as you walking just getting larger and larger, and it says Brookshaven Inn, vacancies flashing in that neon style. And it's looks like a quaint little bed and breakfast. The neon sign is maybe a little garish or gauche, but the actual structure looks very quaint.
Hmm.
And there's it's 3 stories tall and overlooking the water of the port on one side.
I think I'd just go in and ask for a room. One room for the night, darling.
Absolutely. And where would you like that located? For an extra $5, we can get you the scenic view.
The scenic view would be lovely.
Certainly. And would you like queen size or king size bed with that?
Is there a room with 2 queen size beds?
2 queens, I have that, certainly. And he marks them down. That'll be $38.
Oh, yeah, yes, of course. And I put my purse on the floor here. She'll lean down and just grab money off of her boot again, count out the money, and give him like a $2 tip.
That's why it's 38.
Yes,
But
smart man.
he looks towards Agent Sloan. Want me to help you with the bags? Looks like you're carrying all the luggage there, little fella, and maybe I could help out.
No, I've got it. Thank you. But we'll need at least one more room.
Okay. Would you like queen size bed? Would you like it on the scenic view as well?
Yes, please. Nearby, if we could.
Yeah.
Next
A
door, if
suite.
possible.
Conjoining
Oh.
suite. Yes,
Oh.
if that's possible.
Sure. Now there is the upcharge for that. That'll be $48.
Yes, of course. She just takes out the extra funds and hands it over to him.
48 exactly this time. Not falling for that one twice. All right.
No, it's an extra. I gave you 40, and then I just gave an extra 10 on top of that to round it up to 50.
Oh, so you haven't caught on to that one yet. I appreciate it.
It's more like it's better to treat people well. Plus, what's an extra $2?
Yeah, things are hard this time of year, so I appreciate it. If you folks need anything, just call down to the desk. That's me. Name's Andrew Brass, and I'm the proprietor here. If you folks need anything or need recommendations, I don't know if you've had breakfast yet, but there's a great waffle place I could recommend just down the street, about 10 blocks
Yes.
away.
Wally's Waffles. We've been there. They were
So
delicious.
probably came for those world famous waffles then, right?
Yes, of course.
Everybody knows Wally's.
We also heard that there was some opportunities in the area for I don't know, in addition to funds in your bank account.
Around this time? No, you probably have more success in the summer. I know I do.
Yeah, well, that's fair. Apparently, we came at the wrong time of year, but Wally's Waffles made it worth it.
Glad to hear that. Here's your keys.
Women's waffles.
I'll take the keys.
Never been to Belgium.
No, I've never had the pleasure, unfortunately.
It is
Well,
alright, it's
one
alright.
day. I'll take the keys and hand one to Agent Sloan, and she'll say, "Why the extra room, Agent Sloan?" as they walk up to their rooms.
Well, I just assumed you ladies would prefer a little privacy.
Darling, we're agents. We gave up our privacy a long time ago.
And his face goes even more red.
I don't suspect we'll be doing much sleeping anyway. It's lots of work to be done.
Yes, of course.
You might want to work on your embarrassment. You're
And
going to have to
he
be
just
in
gets
all
way
sorts
redder, like beet
situations.
red at that point, like when you bring it up.
Oh.
Besides, it is nothing you haven't
Just
seen
looking down.
before.
Now he's done. Like,
Is it?
He's actually melted into a puddle of ooze.
Oh.
That's how embarrassed he is.
It appears like you might not have.
Another mysterious serum?
Stop it. All right.
Oh, it
So
appears you might
as-
need the lift of love, darling.
So as the party makes its way to their dwelling for the night and sets up all their gadgets and tries to hatch a plan, we're going to take this opportunity to take a quick break, but we shall be back shortly. So don't go anywhere, and we'll see you folks very soon.
And we are back and live.
Welcome back, friends. Again, if you're just joining us, then go back and watch the first half because you are midway through Heroes Die Presents, the Paranormal Investigation Group module of the One Shot Saw game. If you're interested in what we're playing today, yes, Pig. So if you're interested in what we're playing today, make sure to check out our Patreon page. The link is below. And while you're here, make sure you click all the fun little buttons. Follow us, like us, subscribe us, just be our friends. We have a Discord. All the fun links are there, and make sure you're there so you know when we're doing stuff and don't miss a show. We especially want to point you towards our Saturday show, Best Left Buried. It is our main campaign and an overarching story, unlike this little one shot here. But if you're interested in what we have to offer and the stories that we're telling, certainly make sure to check out Best Left Buried. That's right here on the Twitch page or the YouTube page. And that's from 1 to 4 p.m. Central Time each and every Saturday. And with that, I think that covers our welcome back part. Let's get back into the story here. Our elite agents have been investigating this lift of life serum that's been propagated throughout Brooks Haven. They have reached the Brookshaven Inn and have begun to set up a little bit of a home base. And they have a meeting with an ominous chipper, Heather Evers, who claims to be involved with the Lift of Life serum as part of a multi-level marketing arrangement. I think that about sums it up. So with that, folks, I'll turn it back over to our elite agents. What are you guys doing?
Yeah, Agent Sloan, when he gets in the room, is unpacking right away. We've got antennas. We've got a nice hard case that when it's about, I don't know, like, well, y'all can't really see it, but it's the size of what a laptop would have been before laptop. So it's this nice large hard case. So if you ever seen the movie Hackers, it's the hacker's laptop that they give Zero Cool or Zero Crash, whatever his name was, when he first gets set up. And if you haven't seen Hackers, do yourself a favor, go see that movie because it's glorious. But he's got that hacker's laptop basically. It's even spray painted with stupid stuff on it. And he's got that open. He's got that open. He's got some antennas setting up. And he is digging into, now that he's got the signal right for the antenna, he's communicating back with Peg headquarters and oink oink, and is looking for information specifically on 342 42nd Street. That address, as well as Heather Evers. See if she pops in any of our databases. And I'd like to use my devices skill. Is that reasonable?
Yeah. You're relaying with headquarters. So yeah, and looking through the archives.
Mhm.
Excellent. That is a 1.
Oh no.
There is a terrible screeching noise, and at first it's comforting, the beginning of a modem dialing up. So you hear and you have your devices to help, scramble the signal so no other black hat hackers will be able to track you. But unfortunately, it overloads the system at this quaint little bed and breakfast who's not used to people doing business while they travel here. And you just can't get a signal. There's just no way to connect with the database back at headquarters.
Have you tried turning it off and back on again?
I'm sorry, Miss Steele. I'm using Linux. I don't need to do that.
Well, I think that you should try. It's obviously whatever you're doing is. Well, just keep at it, darling.
Yep, will do.
She'll take out her handgun and just start disassembling it on a table and cleaning it and then just putting the pieces back together and jamming it back in place and then putting it away.
I'll set my
go ahead.
Sorry. I'll set my
go ahead.
system to send a message whenever it is able to connect. So I'll set it kind of on autopilot, and then I'll lock it so that it's not open or accessible. And well, that's all I can do about that for now. And I'll take another EM reading also.
Give me a roll for the EM reading.
Great. That's a 6.
A 6, that's a success. So you can tell that it is what I said. It was 3 degrees abnormal the first time. It is now 9 degrees abnormal this time. That
Oh my.
it is not necessarily 10 degrees, but it's getting closer.
Right. EM levels are rising.
Sophie is definitely going to share what she knows about the occult in this area. Basically, take out a file and show you the names of not names of witches, but like the events that conspired.
Nice. Okay. I'll get my briefcase loaded up with like a good field kit, but just the briefcase. I'll leave the other bags here, like unpacked with the equipment, including something for analyzing samples in the field.
Sure, you got your little lab chemistry set
Right.
that has all sorts of different reactants, solvents, and all sorts of fun chemicals that Pig has access to, and any good field agent wouldn't leave home without it. So it's good that somebody brought one.
Instead of the briefcase, she just carries the briefcase in her trench coat. To be honest, she's got pockets on classic pen that you double click twice and it shoots out like a dart. And she's ready, but she doesn't hands-free type of situation. So she'll just be checking those pockets and things, and I'll be ready to go out in the field.
I get my little stun gun. Oh, sorry.
Are we going out tonight?
Well, it's pretty early in the day.
Oh, is it? What time is it?
Just afternoon.
Yeah, mid.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'd say probably by like 1 o'clock, we'll say.
Are we going out this afternoon?
Is there any reason to wait?
Well, are we going to go explore the locations, such as the cemetery, or are we going to go directly to 42nd Street, the meeting place?
It'd probably be best to scout out the area.
I'd like to do a tour of the outside of the building while some of you go inside. See if I can pick up any signals or other radiation coming off of it.
This is a good idea, but I think someone should go speak with this Heather Evers. No?
Absolutely.
Hmm.
Maybe we split up. Someone comes with me, and 2 of you go inside.
Splitting up is always a good idea.
Absolutely.
Well, yes. So who's team inside and who's team outside?
I'll be on team outside, as much as I dislike the weather.
All right. Well, it's you and me, Evie.
I'm not the best with social interactions, but perhaps it is the most logical since I made the phone call. So
Your problem, darling, is that you lack confidence in yourself when it comes to the situation. You're intelligent and a strong woman. Just think of that when you're trying to talk to someone. You're obviously smarter than almost anyone you'd be talking to.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
If that fails, just think of them naked.
Is that what you do?
Of course. You can't take someone seriously when they're naked in front of you.
Agent Sloan is red again.
I'm assuming picture naked is your D8 skill. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's a weapons improvisation.
So sometimes, yeah.
Sometimes. If she uses it as a weapon, of course.
Okay.
I will take that under advisement, and thank you for the advice.
Of course, anytime. All right, well,
Let's
I'm
head
ready. Any other preparations? All right. I like that, Agent Sloan. You're taking charge.
Oh, all right. Thank you. Yes.
Mm.
We're off.
Yes.
Excelsior.
We could do without that part.
What is this Excelsior What is
Oh,
this?
I just mean very excited to get going.
Okay.
Hmm.
Looks like we are to work together.
The dream team right here, Agent DuPont. Dream team.
I got your
Yes.
back.
And
So
I open my coat and I show my little holstered stun gun. I go, and I've got yours.
Do you have anything
Perfect.
worse than a stun gun, darling? What is-
Well, it's pretty vicious.
It
Hmm.
is stunning.
Funny.
inspiration, and that doesn't even exist in this system, but take it anyway.
I am just inspired.
Has
All
no
right.
mechanical benefits whatsoever, but you have it.
Hmm.
It's better than points.
Yeah.
Right?
I think at this point we would have called a cab
Yeah.
Okay. And yeah,
to get to the next point.
there's a similar phone book in the room because they were everywhere back then.
Mhm.
So yeah, no problem finding the number of the cab company, and within a few moments the car arrives. It's
You two take the cab. We'll walk because we're only like 8 blocks, right?
yeah, I think it was like 8 blocks, and if you're walking, you will pass the cemetery because that is on Main Street as well. And then
Yeah.
if you go further down the road, that's where the address is. So um, let's
This works out well. There's something I want to investigate on the way there.
And I'll be taking readings along the way. Yeah, meter.
Mhm.
So let's do the cab ride over first, and then I will describe that while this is happening, the people who are going to be stopping by the cemetery and are on foot, the weather is awful. It's not really any better or any worse. It's cold. It's sleety. It's hard to see. So it's just not a pleasant walk over as you go. But in the cab, it's dry. It's standard sedan. So there's the little plastic partition up, and you folks get in the back. I'm assuming. I mean, feel free to break social conventions if you'd like, but presumably,
No, it gets in the back.
yeah, you get in the back, and there's one of those old fare meters, and as you get in, he clicks it on and just says, "Where to?"
342 42nd Street.
All right, and just starts driving, and he's a man in his early 60s, gray hair, big gray mustache, kind of has just a stern stoic facial expression. Not much of a chatter as he drives in that direction. And it is a short drive, but if you'd like to say or ask him anything brief, you have the opportunity.
Have you heard of any get rich quick schemes lately, sir? I've been
Good.
wanting to dump my money somewhere. I'm just wondering if there's anything interesting in the area.
Yeah, if I knew how to get rich quick, I probably wouldn't be driving people 5 blocks for $3 if I'm lucky. And with that, you can see he starts to like slow down so the meter's running a little bit slower. That's my get rich quick scheme. Go slow, get rich real quick.
That's that's an interesting lifestyle that you have, but fair enough.
Yeah, real fascinating.
Get rich
Um,
slow.
Evie is going over her notes at this point, and is just not really paying attention to what else is going on. So I was wondering if she could make some sort of skill check here to see if at this point she has any like viable theories as to what may be going on.
Sure. And so what's the name of the skill? How have we categorized it, or how do you want to categorize it?
Well, the D12 that I rolled before was pattern recognition, so that could be applicable in this situation.
Yeah,
Or it could be something else. Like it could be like
So I think if you want to choose pattern recognition, it would be less of at this point, based on the information you have, I don't think it would give you like theories so much as not a theory, but like theories, similar to how there was like multiple things that could have caused. I think even best case scenario, which is pattern recognition, it wouldn't necessarily be situation specific, but sort of give you a list of options, just because of the information you've gathered, that even best case scenario. But if you want to give me something a little bit more specific, your results might be able to, you might be able to piece something together that's more than pattern recognition, but with this unique situation.
Mm,
So I'll leave
I
that up to
mean, could
you.
she just like could she have a skill that's just like conspiracy theorizing?
Yep,
Okay.
absolutely. So pattern recognition, I think, gets you towards that, and then you sort of deep dive with the conspiracy and you start connecting dots that are like really hard to connect, but in your churning of your mind you start connecting unlikely dots, so it's a little bit different than your pattern recognition. So I think that's
I want to suggest paranormal investigating.
I mean, it is the name of the game, right? So,
Sure. Okay, so that's my D10.
okay.
Then. Okay. And that is a 7.
7, so that's a critical success.
Nice.
The light in the sky, you didn't see it, but it was described to you, and you're familiar with it. Could be some sort of occult ritual, or it could be some sort of, demons can cause lights in the sky. But the streak of light, followed by the vanishing, and followed by the need to sort of recruit people, suggests something from beyond the stars is likely at this. That the most likely leading theory, and it's still just a theory, you're still looking for something that could hone it in, likely suggests something interplanetary based on your studies. And going back through the anthropological record, it was common that the aurora borealis type phenomenon happening in random locations would typically be followed by reports of seeing different sort of tall, gangly looking creatures. And so that's sort of where you're going with this, and the need to recruit people. Often these gangly creatures would try to acquire followers, for what it depends on what species of alien it might be, but it's leaning more towards that. I think would be the leading theory that Evie would have.
Okay. She's not going to share this yet in the cab, but she is furiously scribbling notes and keeps looking and flipping through as they're driving.
Thea will just she'll have her legs crossed and just kind of be leaning against the door, looking over at her as she is doing this. Like, what on earth are you doing? Is kind of like the general vibe that she's getting.
Yeah, she's totally oblivious, but yeah.
Finding out anything interesting over there? She'll say very quietly.
Oh, yes, I think I do have a theory based on observations and past research, but perhaps I should share it with you.
Of course. I think we're almost there. And she'll just take out some funds and look at the amount and just kind of get ready.
And he starts to slow, the car starts to slow, and it seems that as he's parking, you notice, sort of looking around, that you're in a residential area, not a business. It's all houses.
But as we drove by, this is the right spot.
Right. So I was going to say on
Okay.
the mailbox is the 342 42nd Street, and a little paper sign with the old school printing with the little ribbons with the circles all the way down, old school printer paper, and printed out in the block lettering. It just says "Lift of Love HQ."
Hmm. And she will hand up with a couple dollar tip to the man. Thank you, sir. Have a wonderful rest of the day.
Buying a cab to go 5 blocks and trying to ask me how to get rich quick. I never understand folks from the city. And thanks for the tip, ma'am. And just drives off.
She contemplates blowing his tires up as he drives off. But she doesn't do it. She'll just be like fondling the pistol in her shoulder strap for a moment as she looks.
Agent Steele,
Oh, yes. What is it?
you just had a look in your eye.
Oh, did I? He annoyed
Uh,
me.
oh, you seemed like a nice fellow.
That's because you were too busy with your nose and your notebook to be interacting with him. What did you find out? What is your brain spiraling with?
Yes. So, streak of light.
Hmm.
It points to life not from this planet, I believe.
Extraterrestrial.
Indeed.
Hmm.
Eh,
We might be in for a very fun time if it is. They're the worst to deal with.
they can be depending on the species. The need to recruit every so often also points to this. And
Hmm.
I could be I could be wrong, but this this pattern does suggest extraterrestrials, and if that is correct, we should be careful going in.
Well, you are the expert in that field, darling. I will take your word for it. I have leave the safety to me. I'll take care of us. Should we go in?
Do you have experience with extraterrestrials and their weaponry and capabilities?
My first mission was extraterrestrial. I
Really?
won. Yes. It depends on the species, like you say, but I find that very few things can go up against the weaponry that I carry.
Hmm.
I do have a special concoction, just in case their metabolism is supercharged.
Yeah. Oh, well, wonderful. I will trust you then, and if you see anything out of the ordinary, then just give me the signal.
What is the signal?
Oh, they didn't tell you the signal.
Some agents have different signals. I'm just making sure that yours is the same as mine.
Oh, well, it's the two fingers.
Of course. All right. Wonderful. We're from the same branch.
Good.
All right. Let's go in. Are we waiting for the others, or are we just going in? I'm a fan of going in. I don't have a lot of patience, but we can wait.
With the speed of the taxi, they are likely already almost here. But yes, let's go in.
But a lot wet, more wet than we are. So who wins in the end?
True. Um, okay. Should I put away my notes?
I think that you're here to learn. I would flip to a new page, something that doesn't have extraterrestrials on it, and then I think you'll be fine. We're here to learn, after all.
Right. Right. Perfect. All right, I'm ready.
Ready.
And with that, let's cut to our outside crew, our cold and wet crew. What are you folks doing?
Yeah.
And she's
So Agent
bundled
Sloan's
up.
gonna. Oh,
And this is where. Oh, go on. I was
yeah.
going
So
to say.
Agent
This is
Sloan's gonna
where.
continue.
Is it? Oh, sorry.
You for sure. Sorry.
I don't know. Is there a delay? What's going on? Oh no, a delay. Okay. All right. Yeah, she's going to be pointing out like, oh, this is where the three of them were hung. and there used to be gallows here, but now it is. We just have this plaque here. Wanted to check it out.
While we're going, Agent Sloan's going to continue checking EM readings. He also is going to look for just generally any modulated signals on any unusual frequencies for communication.
Give me a roll for it.
Yes. 2.
2. So you don't notice any extenuating anomalies going on, but you do notice, even with a 2, which would normally be a failure, but you can't help but notice that as you get closer to the graveyard, it starts to spike, but then it starts to like drop, and then your machine just turns off. As it just kind of got overloaded as you stepped in the vicinity. The machine is now fried and will need some sort of recalibration to be operable again.
Uh-oh.
Is it supposed to be making this noise?
No, it's not.
Yeah,
I think we overloaded it. There is something big here.
Yes, this is a site of tremendous paranormal activity. Yeah, can I examine the monument?
Absolutely. How do you wanna do that? What? I mean, you can read it, and I can just sort of tell you what it says. We could start
Yeah,
there.
I just want to read it.
Yeah. So roll me your literacy check. No.
Okay.
Sadly, it's not in French.
I can't read English.
But it just says, "May the world never forget the historic moment where mania led to madness, and here lies 3 individuals, names unknown, accused of witchcraft, capital punishment." And then it has a date. And it's a plaque that's on just a large stone. So it's just like a big rock in the middle of like a park, just really a plot of grass with a little bit of fencing around it, and a large stone with the plaque. And the carved in one corner is like the crest of Brookshaven, which you've seen in the city around on flags and just in outside people's homes, and probably the inn has a flag. And then the New Hampshire seal, whatever that might be. Look it up, folks. Google it. I don't know what it is, but it's there, and you recognize it.
Okay, this is a crest. This is a New Hampshire seal. It is very rare that.
I was going to say, if you want more information than just what's on the surface, feel free to roll some sort of skill check. But that's what's readily apparent.
I would probably roll esoteric knowledge.
Sure.
It's my go-to to see. Let me see. What am I trying to discern? I mean, it's very rare that someone would leave a plaque for a group of witches, right?
Yes. Yeah. I think especially the way the plaque reads, where it's sort of wishy-washy. It's not really saying much about it other than it happened, but not really taking a stance. It definitely strikes you as odd. It's not something that would be...
There's something extremely peculiar here. Oh, it's a 6.
A 6. So you start to put your hands on and just sort of feel the plaque, both trying to get a sense, not necessarily that you're doing magic, but seeing if there's something occult vibe. You've been around artifacts, you've been around different things, and you're not getting that. It seems normal, but what you are noticing is that as you put your hands on the plaque, it doesn't feel smooth. It feels almost like it's raised in certain just little dots around. When you move your finger to look at the raised part, it looks completely flat. But when you touch it, it feels like there's a small bump. And you sort of do that a couple times back and forth. Unfortunately, there's nothing in your esoteric knowledge, particularly of the occult, that would explain this. I mean, certain incantation words might leave impressions and things like that, but this isn't something that's jumping out at you as being in this particular realm that you could identify the source of why this anomaly is happening.
Can I make a rubbing? Can I take a rubbing? Like put a piece of paper down, pencil, just to bring out
Yes.
the raised parts?
Yep. And when you do that, you see just it's just dots in a pattern, but yeah, you get an impression of the dots. With your esoteric knowledge, you're thinking, is this what what would describe this pattern? Is it some sort of rune or something like that? And
This
you
may
got a
be
6, right?
this may be a solar chart.
It's a constellation chart. Yeah, a solar chart. It's a
Yes.
star chart that you can see mapped out. That doesn't necessarily have any strong astrological significance that you can think of. So it's not one that would be associated with, Pisces or something like that.
Yeah.
But it's you recognize it as being included. You've looked at enough star charts to recognize it, but not necessarily know of it having a certain significance in the occult world.
Agent Sloan, how is your astronomy? And I show it to him.
Yeah. That's a good one. I look at it and I'm going to start putting the pattern once again. I'm going to pull up my portable computing device, my PCD, and I'm going to start punching things in and looking for star patterns, see if it is familiar in any way, shape, or form.
Could we be dealing with extraterrestrials? And not witches, after all.
And go ahead and give me your roll for that and see what the archives
4.
for. So that's a partial success. Your main computer that would probably is still back at the inn, but you still have your portable unit, so it's a little bit more limited on the information there.
Right.
It does identify as you put in the pattern of the stars and try to trace it to see if it's in the files. It does come back as Homeworld X-43448. For more information, see archive on entry.
X-43448.
It is now. I should
Okay.
write it down too.
Got it.
Noted.
Yeah. Well, it looks like we have something that indicates a particular homeworld, but we're gonna have to go back to the base to get the proper details once that connection comes back up.
Should we go and investigate this 42nd Street address first?
I would like that. I'll try and get my EM reader working while we're on our way over.
It's simply, how do you say, cacked out.
Exactly that, Agent Sloan. Exactly that. Or Agent Dupont. Exactly that. I'm Agent Sloan. Sorry, I'm flustered still.
It's all right. Do not be nervous. You are doing fantastic.
Oh, thank you so much. And I'll try and repair my little device on the way over.
So sure, and we're gonna cut back to the inside crew in just a second. But give me that roll, and this will be as you're walking, as you're moving. Your
5.
5. So yes, while you're working, you will successfully be able to repair that
Come on.
device.
Get it, Agent Sloan.
Inside crew. So you see just a residential 2-story home, white picket fence, very neatly manicured lawn, 2-car garage, and as you walk up the driveway towards the home, you see another one of those printed, very cheaply made signs on the garage that just says "Lift of Life."
Do I see this is a
HQ.
residential area? Are there any cars nearby?
There's a lot of garages but you don't necessarily, maybe a few cars in some of the driveways, but it seems that most people are either not home or maybe their cars are in their garage, but there's not a lot of
I'm
vehicles,
going
but
to
there are some.
clock the nearest vehicle and just kind of put that in my memory in case we need to make a quick getaway. What I'm going to be trying to start and steal essentially to
There,
get away. Borrow. I'll say borrow.
there's a station wagon with your name on it, we'll say.
It's not exactly my Camaro, but it'll have to do.
Does it have the wood panel
Oh
sides?
yes,
Yes.
the 90s station wagon that
That
we're all
was
picturing.
what
it's
I
that
grew
one.
up with, like my childhood vehicle. So
All right. I just want to make sure that I have some means of transportation to get out of here if need be. I'll hotwire it if need be.
So where are you folks going?
walking up to the door.
The house door or the garage door?
Does it seem like it's indicating that we should go to the garage since the sign is on the garage?
It's not clear. It's very unprofessional. We'll put it that way. That
We'll
it's
go
very
to the
unclear.
garage where the sign is. That makes the most sense, probably. Just
And-
walk up and knock on the garage door.
Mm-hmm.
And you hear a click and a as the garage door slowly lifts up. And
Backing up slightly.
yeah, you slowly get like the view of like you see a table, like a desk set up, just a small table.
It's just like
and
a
it's just
folding card
slowly-
table.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And as it lifts up more and more, you see behind the table sitting a very bored teenage girl who's wearing like flannel long flannel shirt, and she's sitting there and she just looks super bored and just completely not at all amused by this very slow moving garage door. Welcome to Lift of Life. How can I help you?
Heather Evers.
Oh, yeah, you want my mom. Of course you do. And she's inside, but yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
maybe you could help us. Actually, we were just interested in a brief overview of what you are offering.
I guess boxes of gunk. Ugh.
Okay.
She shakes her head. I don't know. Mom sells stuff. She's trying to change the world, she says.
Fascinating.
As if.
Thea will just kind of laugh and she'll say, "Mothers, right?" And she'll be like indicating Yvette right by her.
And you can tell she just gives that apathetic.
Well, we'll be on our way to meet your mother then, it seems like. It's probably the matter of business.
Yeah, let me go and get her. I mean, at least she's paying me. And she gets up from her behind the table, and as she walks away, the garage door is open. You just see like boxes and boxes that just have a little logo in cursive writing that says "Lift of Love," and it's just like every box just stacked up in the garage. And I mean, there's 50 or 60 boxes in this garage. No vehicles are in this garage. It is just boxes and this weird table. She goes to the garage and like into the door that connects the garage to the house, and she just opens up and says, "Ma, you got a couple suckers." Slams the door.
While her
and
back
just
is turned, is
Oh,
there
yeah.
any way that I could grab one of these bottles?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, she's well. How are you going about that?
Good question. Are there cardboard boxes, you said?
Yeah.
Are they like that really fancy crisscross, or are they just like loosely shut?
The ones at the bottom would probably be more the fancy crisscross, but there are some open at the top where they're already opened up and sort of flaps are out. So you can peer in and see just jars of probably the serum, you assume. But yeah, there's jars in the box.
I'm just gonna like try to reach up and snag one real quick.
So what's your let me do something quiet and not get noticed ability that you'd like to use? I don't know if fast
Nope,
talking helps this time. I'm gonna make you pick
it
something
doesn't.
different because it's kind of the opposite.
Yeah, absolutely. Honestly, I don't think that I could probably swing any of her absolute skills. So I think it would be probably a D6. She'd be familiar with it, but it wouldn't be like her
Sure, she's
specialization.
being smooth. Yeah, being smooth and coy and things like that would certainly be in her wheelhouse. Maybe not one of her defining skills, but something she's experienced in. So go ahead and give me a D6 roll.
3.
3. So a partial success.
While she's doing that, I'll notice that she's trying to do something sneaky, and so I'll just like lean up against the card table and kind of like push it a little bit on accident to make a little bit of a distracting noise, if possible.
Yeah, and she's slamming the door almost right as you're bumping the table. So there's a lot of noise and commotion going on at once. And Agent Steele, you managed to reach in the box and quickly cup one of the jars. Unfortunately, in doing so, you do open one there's one next to it, and some of the goo starts to spill on your hand. But you do
I'll
quickly get it.
immediately. Okay. Oh, can I try to brush it off with
Yeah.
something
What do you
cardboard?
on the cardboard?
On the cardboard, just like real quick, just do a like.
Sure. So yeah, you try to
Try to
as best you
scrape it off.
can
Yeah.
smoothly, kind of in one motion, wipe it off, and then pocket the jar that you snagged. And it feels nice. Like you can feel the skin is a lot smoother in that area. It feels rejuvenated.
I don't like it. In 6 months, I'm going to be disappearing here.
But the upside is that you did successfully and stealthily acquire the jar, and with the noise of the bumping of the table, the slamming of the door, and sort of your coy, swift movement, the teenage girl doesn't bat an eye or seem to notice anything soft. She's half paying attention anyway, so probably all that damn MTV she's watching.
Yes. And she'll just be pretending to like look things over and waiting.
So the teenager sits back at the back at her seat at the table, and she pulls out a little clicker and as the garage door starts to close. And
I think that you might be bored because you're not advertising well.
Yeah, bring it up with her. Miss Evers will be with you shortly. Pulls out a magazine with some boy band on the cover and begins flipping through it. And
Jeremy the Wicked.
Is that Creed that you're looking at there?
The best boy band ever.
Yeah, right.
I was more into the rock scene, to be honest.
I know.
I wasn't a boy band person.
I have like clashed. I said she was wearing flannel and now reading boy band stuff. It's a confusing time, all right? She's not sure who she is. She's figuring it out and trying.
Maybe I should have said NSYNC. NSYNC on the cover.
As you talk to her, she's just completely ignoring you at this point, to the point where she's just being rude. But you almost don't have time to register it as the garage door that connects to the house swings open with a clack as it hits the wall behind it. And,
there was a moment where Agent Thea was reaching into her trench coat again and just kind of like spacing out for a moment before it startles her. Seeing the rudeness.
With that, a well-dressed, well-groomed woman in probably her early 40s, very big smile across her face and teeth just so white, just says, "Hello and welcome to Lift of Life. How can I help you folks?"
She's gonna look over at Agent Steele.
Well, my mother spoke with you on the phone earlier about your Oh, business. It seems wonderful. And she just asked, I was in the area as well. We're here on vacation, and she just asked if I come with her to check it out.
Yes,
Well, is it you I spoke with on the phone,
that
ma'am?
was me. Yes.
Pleasure to meet you. My name's Heather Evers, and reaches out a hand, almost like throws it at your
Oh,
direction, and with a very firm grip, kind of shakes your hand. Welcome, welcome. It's just like I described on the phone. Today is going to be a day you remember forever. Forever and ever promises Heather Evers.
that is that's wonderful. Could you tell me a little bit about what it is you are doing here? What are you offering?
Absolutely. In fact, sometimes I just can't shut up about it. Just ask Kristen over there. Motions towards the bored teenager who it completely is tuned out at this point. In fact, has put on big headphones and a Walkman, which is
I'm
Google that if you don't know
actually
what it is
really
before
jealous right
MP3
now.
players. And yeah, you hear some kind of loud noise coming from it, but can't identify which genre of music it
Totally
is that
Creed.
she's landed on.
Definitely Creed.
Yeah.
For
Ugly
sure.
Kid Joe.
Um, but Heather, the mother, says, information you want? Well, guess what? That's all we do here is provide information. I mean, some folks like to say that we sell a product. I disagree. Selling a product means that we're trying to part people from their money, and that's not what we do here. We inform them of the things that are available to them, and you know what? These things just sell themselves. And she starts to move towards one of the boxes that is closer to her, not the one that was over back towards the far wall, and pulls out just a jar, and it's just a round jar, cap on top, and has the logo printed on it, um, and says, "So, Miss Jones, how many of these would you like?"
Oh, um, how much are they?
Well, for the low, low price of $20, I can give you 3 of them right now, but I know you're more interested in way more than 3 of them. I mean, after all, 3 wouldn't be barely enough for you. And then you have your daughter here, motions towards Agent Steele. She's going to want probably 7 or 8 for. And then how many friends do you have? You seem like a popular woman. You got that smile, that go-get-'em attitude. I bet you have a whole bunch of friends, and they would all need at least 20 or 40 probably. I mean, they want a while. So I could probably put you down for 3 or 4 boxes right now, and I could probably do that for, well, let me tell you this. I can give you a discount. I can tell that you're interested in this, and this is something that would change your life and change the lives of everyone you know. So how about for $300, I give you 6 boxes right now? What do you say?
You
Uh,
know,
sure. Yes.
well, Mom, I was thinking that it seems like such a good deal. I almost want to get into the business myself. How do you do that? How did you get started in this business?
Well, it's one of those things where fortune just blessed me with the biggest opportunity you would never believe. I was down on my luck. I wasn't sure how I was going to afford this wonderful abode that I have, and now I run my business out of the garage, but soon enough I'm going to have a skyscraper with my name on it after how many I've sold. So the opportunity presented itself, and I just took advantage of that opportunity. And you know what? You seem like just the folks who would make the same wise decision, and soon you'll have your own skyscraper with your name on it. And it just started right here today in this little old place with little old me, and I'm so glad we met. So that was 6 boxes, but then you want to get into business yourself, so you're probably going to want to double that at least, right?
Well,
12
how
boxes?
did you get into business? It's such a
Well,
wonderful thing.
it's simple, really. I found out that this serum, this rejuvenating serum, I took one look at it and said, I've tried it all. It never works. Every single time I do it, I just end up wrinkly, old, sad, and poorer. But now there's more. There's a solution for my problem, and it's this. She pulls out
Yes,
the jar. Rejuvenating serum by Lift of Life. So when I saw that this opportunity presented itself, I jumped on that opportunity, and you're about to make the same decision
ma'am, I
today.
don't think that you understood the question. Are you the ones that start us on the path, or where does this originate from? A miracle of this stature? I haven't heard about it on the news?
Oh, it's going to be breaking soon. Trust me, we're going to get everybody informed about what a great product it is.
Yes, but where does it come from?
Uh, I see. How do you want to break this hold pattern? Let's put it that way. She is stuck in autopilot. But so just saying something, but if you want to use a skill, you might be able to get something more out of her.
While you're thinking about that, I would like to, while she's doing all this, I'm watching her. I'm trying to see, like, is she giving off alien vibes or does she seem human?
Go ahead and how do you want to assess that?
I don't think that really falls into the connecting the dots. If we're calling,
I think pattern recognition would be a fair game
okay,
one
okay,
for this,
okay,
in that this is the way humans normally
that's
act.
true.
Is this breaking that pattern?
That is
I
true.
think
Okay, I will roll my d12. That is an 11.
you can tell, and it's very hard to notice, and you're not quite sure she's doing it at first, but as she's getting more and more animated and she starts to repeat very similar things over and over again, you can tell that, especially when she starts getting on one of those amped up rants, she's blinking her eyes like not at the same time. Very noticeably different. It's you can't necessarily identify, is it a certain alien species or something like that, but it does strike you as odd, and you can tell that the pattern is consistent, that it's when she gets really amped up, she starts to just seem a little off and have this little tick that she's blinking her eyes just a half a second off.
Very creepy. I like it. Okay. So she's going to try and give the two-finger signal.
Oh, I see it immediately because I want out of this conversation. She'll reach out. How I'm going to break the cycle is she's going to reach out and like just kind of just gently grab her shoulder and just try to like stop her pattern of thought here. And she's just going to say, you have so many boxes, but we don't want to get ahead of ourselves. So let's just do 5 bottles for now. And we know if we decide that we want to come back to start our business, then we'll return. And
Well,
I'm going to be very much closely watching her or this presence reaction to see if it's like really upset that we're not going to get more or what's going on here.
Well, absolutely. I believe that you're gonna see with just these five bottles, not 5 boxes,
Five bottles. Yes.
with just these 5 bottles, it's almost a waste of time. You're gonna be back here in, oh, I don't know, 2-3 hours trying to get all of my inventory. And you know what? Let me just tell you this. I understand 5 bottles, that's all you want, and I'm not gonna try to sell you a single thing more because I hear my clients. Now, let me just tell you this: with 5 bottles, you're not going to be eligible for our retreat, and our retreat is where we really dig into how we can revolutionize everything. It's very local, and I tell you, you won't qualify unless you get 10 boxes on your first purchase. And I can tell you at the retreat, you could learn something. I learn a lot.
5 bottles, please.
Certainly, and let me just get Kristen to bring that up for you. And Kristen just turns around, having taken off her headphones, and says, well, how much overcharge did you do on these folks this time? No. She has jokes. She has such a sense of humor. I tell you, no overcharge. You guys get the fairest price around because I know you're going to be back, and I want to do good business. That's just going to be $80 for those 5 bottles right now. Just $80, and that's all it takes, and you'll get those. And trust me, I'll remember this when you come back and get those boxes so we can go on that private retreat.
$80. I'm afraid I only have 35 on me. I'm sorry, we didn't think that it would be this pricey.
Tell you what, I can do 2 bottles $45 right now, and it's gonna be. Look, you take these and you sell those. You come back here and you can buy as many as you want because you can sell
Please
these. They
take
sell
my
so
money.
fast.
Just take $45 and I'll take 2. She'll just hand her the cash.
Don't forget, this is where we're headquarters.
Course,
We're
of
open
course,
24
of
hours a
course.
day. If I'm not,
Thank you. She will walk over to Kristen as she's ringing them up, and she will just say quietly, "Your mother is quite excited. Is she always like this?"
thank you. Come again.
Uh, let's go. Come on, honey.
Of course, mother. She'll take the 2 bottles and leave.
Uh-oh, we lost. Did everyone else lose?
Yeah.
He's back.
And with that, let's switch to our outside crew. So we're gonna back up in time a little bit. You guys arrive as the garage door is going down the first time because you were a little bit behind. They did the knocking. They waited the awkward amount of time for the garage door to go up and back down, and that's when you folks arrive. So out of character, you know that there's a limited amount of time, and then you're going to be rejoined by your party. But in character, you don't know what's going on behind closed door
That's
in
right.
the garage. Yep. So that's the scene.
Well, this is the place. I think you're muted.
I take it my throat. I pull back out my EM meter and I go, I'll go around back. You look in the front. See if you can see anything.
We are agents. We ring doorbells.
Well, I think they're in there. I say we run in right now and see if we can see something while they're doing whatever they're doing.
So is the backyard?
Yeah, you look in the front. I'll go run around the backyard. I'll look in the back door.
All right.
Okay. So I'm gonna run around back, read my little meter.
All right. So
Hmm.
you repaired your meter on the walk, and it is not like overloaded, like it's not breaking, but it's definitely very, very high. So we'll say it's at 50 degrees higher than
Oh,
normal. Like it is
50
spiked.
degrees. Okay.
Especially as you get closer to the garage, and as you move away from the garage towards the back of the home, it drops down to an even 25.
Nice. I want to look in windows like casually and see if I can see anything going on.
Sure.
That's-
How are you doing this? What kind of skill would you want to use for your
Yeah.
general prowling and peeping?
Standard. Unfortunately, Agent Sloan is, while not super talented, more talented than you'd want someone to be at prowling and peeping. So
He's an agent. He's an agent. Yeah.
We're gonna give
Secrets
him a
revealed.
D6.
All right.
Mhm.
The 16-year-old boy that got
Spends a
accepted
lot of
into Pig.
time in chat rooms on the
Yeah,
internet.
behind the screen.
Message boards. Actually, in the 90s,
Yeah, I was
it
gonna say
message
use
boards.
net boards and stuff, right? Yeah.
4.
For success.
Yeah.
Partial success. As you're peeking in, it seems general 90s suburbia type home. But you do notice, and you can't get a good look at it. But from one of the rooms, the door inside the house, there's a door that's slightly ajar and a faint green glow coming, but you can't see through, like, because it's just cracked. You see the glow, but you can't see what's behind the cracked door.
Sophia's going to go up to the front door and ring the bell.
No answer.
I ring again.
No answer.
Mon Dieu. I go around. Can I peek in the front window?
Yeah. How are you doing that?
With my eyes. I'm
All
just
right, so
looking in. I'm not like
general
trying to be
peering.
stuffy or anything. Yeah.
Sure. So it looks generally, you're going up to the window and yeah, trying to look in. The house is empty so far as you can tell. It looks general household. It's clean, it's tidy. Um, you know, old one of those old big TVs that are like real
Yeah.
thick, like yeah, one of those. So they're it's a family room you're looking
Okay.
into.
Okay. And so there's clearly like action, side door action, like where people mainly come in.
There's the paper sign on the garage,
Mm-hmm.
and you even hear a loud noise that kind of sounds like somebody bumping into a table and slamming open a door or slamming shut a door at the same time. If you had to put a description to it, it sounded a lot similar, very similar to that. So
Okay.
you know that people are there, but they're probably in the garage.
Okay. I'm gonna find Agent Sloan.
Yeah, I'm just continuing to peep and prowl around the house, and take readings as I go. The green light's interesting.
What is it? What did you
So
find?
So
I
as
cut.
you're as you're walking, so it spiked very high around the garage and then dropped to about 50 when you got to around the area where you saw the green light. And as you walk to the farther side of the house, assuming you're kind of just going around the perimeter, you notice it drops back to closer to still raised, but closer to normal levels the further you get away from both the garage and where that green glow from the center of the home was,
Okay.
or inside the house.
Okay. I look at Agent Dupont as I get around to her. I go, well, I saw something. There was a strange light from inside, and the readings are much higher near the garage.
Strange light. This is a blue light, yellow light, red.
Green. I've
Green.
got, and I pull out this little device and I go, I've got a little lock picking gun. I say we go in the back door while they're distracted.
I've got your 6.
Okay. And I want to use my lock picking gun.
All right, roll
if
for
it's
it.
locked. Yeah.
We'll
Is
say
it
it is
locked, I
because you
guess,
got
first?
yeah.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Well, just because you brought the gun, it wouldn't have been, but they're really trusting people. But you brought the gun, so
Yes, that's a 3.
partial success.
Mhm.
So the gun
Good
begins
enough.
to whiz and whirl, and you push it towards the lock,
Ka-dunk.
and you hear chunk chunk, and the lock breaks off. Like the whole lock comes out of the door, and there's a hole right where the lock was, like a deadbolt that just came out attached to the gun. So the door is open, but you also took a chunk out of the door.
Is it possible to make that thing quieter?
Well, I'll work on the next iteration.
Let's get in there.
Yeah, let's go in.
Yep, door's open, obviously. So yeah,
Stun gun
if you
out.
put your
Yeah.
finger in and just from the hole that you made, open the door up, and you're heading towards the green light, or
Yeah, absolutely.
So you, as you're moving towards there, you do hear some more commotion happening at the further side of the house, towards where the garage was. Sounds like a very almost like a chant going on of but you can tell it's still ongoing.
Okay, good.
So you have enough time to make it towards the door, and as you open it up, you see all sorts of vials filled with this green glowing liquid. I mean, it is just like uranium in old school cartoons, where it's just like that ominous green glow emanating from these vials. And they're hooked up to all sorts of beakers, and maybe one's on like a Bunsen burner, and there's like a coil going up. It looks very mad scientist lab, and there's just this glowing green liquid that's just throughout all of these tubes and vials. Maybe some are darker and lighter in colors depending on where they are in the process, but generally look the same.
I'm gonna try and take a sample from both some of the originating substances and the ultimate distillation. So looking at this contraption, right? It looks like some sort of giant distillation process, like some sort of chemical process that produces an outcome.
Yeah, it looks almost like a very strange still,
Right.
almost. Yeah, like
So
yeah.
I'm going to take a couple of the inputs and I'm going to take some of the purest extract stuff that it's going to get, like the concentrate. And I put on some rubber gloves that I have in my briefcase, and I grab these things out and put
How
them
much time do you need?
in beakers. I'll go quickly, but don't don't let anything sneak up on me. And I start grabbing whatever I
Right.
need. I don't know how long do I need.
A few minutes, but as you're collecting it, you do hear the stop, and you start to hear
I want
very low, very small, coming from the garage area.
I want
as
to
you
do
assume.
something as the door before it gets too far open. I don't know if it can go back to us.
Yeah.
But
What you got?
she's going to just look at her agent friend, her mother now, and she's just going to say, "Duck," and she's going to put up a hand to stop the garage door and reach into her trench coat and pull out a pen with a sleeping dart and dart the mom.
All
I want to
right.
stop the garage door and dart the mom in my action.
What skill? Tell
I
me
have
what that
firearms,
is.
improvisation, or like weapons
That's
as my D8.
perfect. That's perfect. Yep. Roll that.
The two
It's
go together so well.
I
Yeah.
know.
Right. That's exactly what you're doing, right?
So it's a 7.
A 7. That's a critical success. So, poof, I mean, you got it right between her weird blinking eyes.
Can I? I'm assuming then the daughter is next, so she's just going.
She probably
to,
doesn't care.
I don't know if what I should do to her, to be honest, but I'm gonna try to indicate like for my partner to grab the door, and I'm gonna tackle her, or like somehow grab her so that she can't
to restrain her.
to restrain her.
What skill are you using to restrain her?
Same thing, improvisation with weapons.
All right.
I'm the weapon in this
Right.
case.
That's yeah.
Hey, come on, don't fail me. Oh, that's a 6.
A 6 success. So she's startled. I mean, this is the most adrenaline you've seen that she's felt in so long. You don't understand her pain, okay? But she feels alive for the first time in forever. And,
No one understands her.
Yeah, she's just so misunderstood. But it doesn't matter whether you understand her or not, because she is restrained, and you've just, in her startled state of remembering what it's like to be alive, you put your arms around her, and she's just like, quickly, I don't know what happened, but I'm not going to move. And with easily, you have her.
I'm gonna hit the button so that the garage door will like come back down if it isn't already.
Yeah, it's stuck because of where you stopped it. So, are you trying to close it or open it?
Close it.
Okay, so you hit the button and
I don't want the neighbors to see.
you hit the button and it starts to open again, but then you hit it a second time and it corrects and
Get the right
goes down.
I honestly didn't know what else to do, Sarah.
The girl's just going to say, look, you can take as many boxes as you want. I don't care. You can have every single one of these. Just don't hurt me.
Shut up. She'll say.
Oh, well, what is the
Sarah?
What's the...
I thought the signal was that we found the culprit.
The signal was to leave.
We're not on the same page, are we?
Oh.
What happened to the mom?
She got darted in between the eyes, right?
No, but did it
So
work?
she just falls over. I mean, like the tranquilizer dart in the cartoons, just like it has the feathers sticking out of it, and she just falls back. And I mean, it sounded like she fell pretty hard, and it was in the garage. So hopefully she's okay. But she just, without having a chance to catch herself, just fell backwards.
So we hear this commotion too, right?
And yeah, you hear a scream, you hear a thump, and you hear the garage door like moving a couple times as it corrects itself. And so you hear something happened in the garage.
Go check it out, Agent Dupont. I'm gonna finish up in here. Keep working.
Yeah, I take out the pistol and my badge, and I open the door.
To the
Yeah.
garage,
Uh,
and you see Agent Steele restraining a teenage girl. You see an unconscious woman, and you see a very confused Agent Evie.
What
for a
the?
moment before she recognizes who it is, she will have like taken out her pistol and aimed it over to the girl's shoulder before she realized, and then she's like, "A little
What
warning
is
next
going on
time."
here?
Well, I got the signal, and maybe we crossed hairs on what the signal was, but suspicious activity up here. How about yourself?
You should see what's going on inside.
Hmm.
Did
All
she
right.
really deserve this?
Of course. It's better than a pistol.
Eh, we have reason to believe. There could be. She looks at the daughter.
I'll cover her ears.
Who is crying right now, hysterical. Like she's very confused,
I'll
very
just
concerned.
cover her ears at this point.
That this could be extraterrestrial in nature.
Yes, we have come to this conclusion as well.
Hmm.
The monument in the park was some sort of star chart.
The one for the witches.
That's right.
You know, it's interesting. Perhaps you know of this theory, Dr. Michelle Blanchard from the University of Oxford, who proposed the existence of a quantum connection between witches and
yes.
aliens.
Yes, Blanchard, yes. She said that it is there are gateways between worlds.
Yes,
Wormholes almost.
exactly.
It is
Could
funny,
that be what's going
It
on?
is- It could be. It could be.
Yes,
Give
you're
me a
both
moment.
very intelligent women, she'll say as she
and I'll grab
is
it.
tying up the mom.
Yes, Blanchard, yes.
As you go to tie up the mom, you notice that there is a pool forming behind her, but it's not a pool of blood. It's a green liquid is leaking out, much in the way that blood would, and it is glowing.
All right. I'll restrain her to the best of my ability. And study. Take out. She probably has a pair of gloves as well, and study it.
Wait a moment. It is glowing. Much like the liquid we found inside.
Do you think that this is? Well, I don't know what this is. I've seen aliens like bleed before. Does it look like this normally, or is this different?
How do you want to find out? How do you want to know if you know?
I think it would be a D6 for her. I mean, I think that
Okay.
she would be familiar. It's not her specialty, but she would.
Yeah, you're an
We've
agent. You've
we've
gone through
established
training. Yeah,
her first.
Your
thing
first,
was
yep.
alien. 5 for
a
that.
5. So as you are investigating to try to see if you can identify what this is, you notice that you come across some sort of like netting right where she fell on the back of her head. You almost notice like a netting instead of a wound, and you take your gloved hands and start to sort of peel back the netting. And after it breaks maybe about a foot or so in the net, the whole thing just turns into a regular net. The woman that was before you is no longer, and instead this long gray stalk with about 8 what you can only assume to be eyes towards the top, and coming off of its head are these 4 trunks that are leaking this green liquid. It doesn't have any limbs. It is just a stalk, eyes, trunks liquid. And Kristen, the daughter, is just fainted. It's overwhelmed her. The crying stops.
Your mother is already dead.
Most likely, yes.
Not your standard gray alien.
Can I try to get her out of the net, or get the stalk out of the net fully?
Yes, and you rolled a 5, so that is a success. So you do recognize this type of alien. It uh, name is something impronounceable by human tongues, but it has a convenient letter and number code that you can't quite recall because you got a 5 and not a critical success, and not because I don't remember where I wrote it. But you got a partial a success, but not a critical. So you know it's a numbering system. And these aliens are often invade a planet. They harvest enough for a season, and their seasons last about 40 years. Or so. It doesn't quite match up perfectly because of the space-time continuum, but it's a routine harvest season, and they go to different planets and harvest.
She's gonna take out a collar-like device and put it around the neck. It's a very early stage shock collar.
Okay.
Type.
Now it's a stalk. Where do you think the neck is? Like, how high up do you want to go to where you're convinced it's a collar and not a belt?
Right before the branches.
All right. So like here.
Exactly.
All right. You're pretty sure that's about where the neck is, but either way, it'll probably do its job.
All right, I think our job here is mostly done, although it would be nice to know what happened to the mother. I'm assuming she's dead.
I walk into the garage with some samples and I look around at the scene. I go, got the samples.
Yes, I've got the body.
That liquid oozing out of the back of that extraterrestrial there, is it possible that it is the same as the samples you carry?
I'll take a sample.
Yes, why don't you do that?
Does someone want to give a call? Oh, sorry.
I was just going to say, can I look at you said there was like an emblem or something, like a brand logo for the Lift of Life. Mm-hmm. Can I study that and make a little sketch of it?
Yes, absolutely. And yeah, it's written in cursive writing, Lift of Life. It's very fancy and elegant. And then in the corner, as it's sort of written diagonally, in the corner is a big star.
Oh, yes. Should have clocked that one. I will... Who has the phone?
Evie, I believe.
Oh,
Dr. Evie.
Should we... I guess we should make a report.
The corporal, yes.
Would you like to do that?
Okay. Of course. She'll just hand a little... There's like a little wired device to the collar, and she'll just hand it over and she'll say, press the button if it gets up. And she'll take out the phone and dial the correct number and just wait for a moment for the corporal on the other end of the line.
Hearse or transport?
Yes, this is Agent Thea.
Do you need a hearse or transport?
Transport.
On its way. Click. No more than 1 minute later, if that. The black SUV rounds the corner and gives one quick beep beep from behind the closed garage door.
I'll try to. So I believe we'll probably load the serum up, right? Thea is going to take a moment to like clean up the place, make it look like nothing was there, and that the daughter just like fell and hit her head on accident. Like this was all just a dream.
I love it. Gilligan's Island theory, right? You just hit your head and
exactly.
How did I get here?
Exactly.
Yeah, so you're quickly tidying up, and a few moments after the beep, in fact, you hear the honking. The garage door begins to open up, and several agents just dressed very plainclothed, begin helping and just serving as a cleanup crew. They look towards the daughter and they just say, dispose of or keep here?
Keep here.
All right,
And
next.
she's not
And
involved in
that
slime
one,
somewhere.
and points to the stalk.
Dispose of it.
I think perhaps we need to study this. It would be prudent. We still don't know exactly what is um, going on here, so.
And
All
we have
right,
all the
load it.
gear inside. There's a whole lab thing worth
Oh.
taking disassembling.
Oh, really?
We'll need a truck.
What did you find?
I described the lab equipment like the still thing.
All right, I'm gonna call for backup. You see him pull out another brick of a phone, and he just presses like 3 or 4 buttons on it. And again, within maybe a minute, there's a flower delivery van shows up, a waste management truck shows up, and a cable guy truck shows up, and all these people dressed for the appropriate job, carrying flowers or a tool belt, all just start walking towards the house as the street just starts to get crowded as more business than they've seen in months happening on this street.
So Sophie's gonna recognize the the alien body disposal unit and hand him a piece of paper with the code, like the homeworld 43448, the star chart that she got from the thing, and
I will just have scrawled on there harvesting season.
yeah.
And they look over the notes, and one of the cable guy, in fact, shows up, and you recognize him based on his hand signals, 3 fingers, as being an elite guy. I mean, you folks are elite, but I mean, he's not corporal level, but he's up there. Yeah, he's definitely the man in charge of this scene. And he starts looking through the notes, looks over at the alien body, and says, "I think you folks saved a lot of lives today. Greatly appreciate the service that you do. We'll do a proper debriefing and certainly make sure that you get the information about what it was exactly that you stopped. Good for morale, I'm told. And at this point, I think it's best that we evacuate the area and let these professionals handle this part of the job."
We'll have a detailed report on your desk tomorrow morning.
Much appreciated.
Evie's gonna look over and see Agent Steele's hand and go, "Oh, is everything okay with your... What is that?"
Well, I tried to swipe one and it got a little messy. Should we take the whole hand off? I hear that there's robotics that could perhaps... We'll see what happens.
Just for funsies, what would you use to resist alien serum? What skill would that be?
Oh gosh, I think that she would place her bets on one of the others. She doesn't have anything. Although actually, she would probably. She's like a walking container of weapons and field supplies, so she probably would have like a neutralization.
Sloan could have something.
Yeah, or Sloan, Agent Sloan. In your case, do you have anything to counteract alien poisons?
Well, I do have this. And he pulls out like a injector thing. So it's like a little gun with a couple, like he screws in a vial and he goes, let's see how this does. And he screws in a vial and he puts it up to your neck and he pulls the trigger and it like...
She just presents
like a
her
Star
neck.
Trek style inject. Is that okay? I'm going to
Of
roll
course.
my D10 used devices. Oh, sorry, Agent Steele. That's a 2.
Agent Steele, you begin to feel good. The tingling in your hand ceases. The rest of your party notices you're blinking just a little weird. And that's what we're going to call it. You guys have successfully stopped the alien invasion.
Oh, I love it.
And the world is safe once more. Yes, you've completely traumatized someone who thought that they were misunderstood and confused before, and now they're going to be very, very confused, and they're always going to be misunderstood. So you got that. You stopped a multi-level marketing scheme from wrecking small town America. So good job.
The most important part.
Yeah, and I guess some aliens had something to do with something too, and that no longer will happen probably. But yes, thank you everyone for joining us. Again, we are Heroes Die, and we just presented the Paranormal Investigation Group module. The system and the module are available on our Patreon. Make sure you follow us on social media and tune back in Saturday, 1 to 4 Central Time for our Best Left Buried campaign. It's a 5e game set in the Wildmount setting, and it's a lot of fun. And we're early on, so catch it now. And yeah, thanks for tuning in.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for running this, and thanks to the X-Files, man. 'Cause
Yes.
I am
Yeah.
absolutely gonna
Totally.
rewatch the X-Files after this.
Yes,
Funny
do
material.
it. I've only watched it like 4 times, so.
All
I've
right.
watched it 0, so I'm gonna have to do that.